Hello everybody, my name is Kyle929. Welcome back to another video. Today is going to be my complete in-depth guide on the new RB archetype. Now, this is a little bit weird. It's not necessarily new, but they have some new support coming out of Doom of Dimensions, which makes the archetype overall a really decent deck to be talking about today. So today we're going to be talking about the card analysis. So we're going to be talking about the cards themselves, the initial support that came out of Duels of Advance, and the new cards that's coming out of Doom of Dimensions. This is for people who don't know what the cards do, but want to know what the cards do and try to understand what they do. That's what that portion of the video is trying to do. And then after that, we'll go over the pure deck list and then show a couple of combos using the pure deck list. And then after that, we'll show off cards you can be splashing in with RB, stuff like Machina and Sky Striker is what we're going to be talking about today, and we'll be showing off combos with them as well. And again, this video is going to be super long, so if there are things you want to skip to, there will be timestamps in the link in the description down below for you to skip to as well. And if you do enjoy this type of video, please considering liking the video, and if you do like my content on the channel, consider subscribing to the channel as well. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Alrighty, now on to the card analysis portion of the video here. So again, if you already know what the cards do and you want to kind of skip to the deck list, there will be timestamps in the link in the description down below for you to skip to those parts. But if you don't know what the cards do and want to understand what these cards are doing, this portion of the video is for you. So we have a lot of cards to talk about here. We have 6 monsters, 3 spells, 2 traps, and 3 link monsters to be talking about today. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get into it, shall we? So we're going to start off with RB Gaten Driller, which is a level 3 Earth Machine monster with 500 attack and 500 defense, and the effect reads as follows. If you control no face-up monsters, or the only face-up monsters you control are RB monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. Now, most of the monsters have this effect, so Driller, Rocket, Cutter, and Pile Bunker all have this effect. Unfortunately, Cannon and Blade do not, but these 4 do have that effect, where if you control no monsters, or if all monsters on the field are RB monsters, they can just free special themselves, which is pretty nice, so it makes it where they're not even that much of a break, which is pretty nice to go with. And then Driller's effect here is, so it can only be special summoned once per turn this way. And then during the main phase, if this card is linked to an RB Link monster, quick effect, pay 500 life points, target 1 monster your opponent controls, destroy both that monster and this card. You can only use this effect of RB Driller once per turn. So if you don't know what it means by being linked to an RB Link monster, so basically it just makes it where it has to, one of the zones from the RB Link monsters here have to point to it. So as long as Driller is getting pointed to by one of the Link monsters, that means it's linked and it can activate its effect. So as long as there's an RB Link monster pointing to it, that's what its condition is to activate this effect. And it's just destroy a card, or destroy a monster by the, so it destroys itself, but it also destroys a monster. So it's an interruption piece as well. So not only is it a free special summon, but it also gets to pop a monster on your opponent's field during your opponent's turn only, but, you know, still fine. Actually, this is just during the main phase. Sorry, I apologize. I was kind of assuming. This is during the main phase, and it's as a quick effect as well. So a pretty nice interruption piece as well. The next thing up here is RB Gaten Cutter, which is a level 4 Earth Machine monster with 700 attack and 700 defense. The effect reads as follows. It has the same top effect as Driller. If you control no face-up monsters, or the only face-up monsters you control are RB monsters, you can special summon this card. Again, pretty nice, and it's an extender piece, and it's not really that much of a brick in hand, which is kind of cool. And then you can only special summon this card once per turn this way, but when your opponent activates a spell, trap card, or effect is activated, and this card is linked to an RB Link monster, quick effect, you can pay 700 life points, destroy this card, and if you do, negate the effect, and if you do, destroy that card. So kind of the same idea with Driller, but instead of being a monster pop for Driller, it's a spell trap negation off of Cutter. Again, it has the same special summon effect, which is kind of cool. And again, it's the same thing. As long as there's a Link monster, or RB Link monster pointing to Cutter, it can pay 700 life points, destroy this card, and then negate that spell or trap card, which is really good. So now I have a monster negate, or a monster pop, and a spell trap negate off of just these 2, and they're also free extenders, which is pretty nice for going first as well. Next card we're going to be talking about here is RB Valken Rocket, which is a level 5 Fire Machine monster with 1000 attack and 1000 defense, and the effect reads as follows. Again, same special summon effect as these two guys here. If you control no face-up monsters or the only face-up monsters on the field are RB monsters, you can just free special. Again, pretty good because it's at the level 5, so it would be a brick, but as long as you control no monsters, it's just a free special summon. So that's really, really good. And it can only be special summon once per turn this way. And then if this card is linked to an RB link monster, you can pay 1,000 life points, target up to 2 cards your opponent controls, destroy them. Also this card, and if you do, inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each card destroyed. So again, still very good card here. Again, still just a free special summon, which is very nice. And you can pay 1,000 life points while this card is being linked to a RB link monster to target up to 2 cards your opponent controls, destroy them, and this card, and then you inflict 500 damage for each card. So if you target the maximum, you're doing 2 of their monsters or 2 of their cards get destroyed plus rocket, so that's 1,500 damage that you're inflicting to that. The only downside to this isn't a quick effect like Driller and Cutter was, but still pretty nice that it can pop 2 cards on the field and then it gets to inflict damage as well. Very, very nice card for the archetype as well. Next up here is RB Gaten Pile Bunker, which is a 8 Earth machine monster with 1,500 attack and 1,500 defense. Now, this is a part of the second wave of the RB monsters that's coming out of Doom and Dimensions. That's why this is kind of a custom card, because Dueling Book doesn't have the TCG cards, and they won't have it until the release of Doom and Dimensions. So a couple of these custom cards are, if they're custom cards, that means they're just from Doom and Dimensions. So just keep that in mind. And then the ones that says TCG is from the last set, which was... What was the last set? Oh my god, I'm sorry, I'm blanking. I don't know what the last set was. Man, I'm really blanking. Was it Alliance Insight? Was that it? Really? Was that the last one? Wow, that was like a couple months ago too. Damn. Okay, I feel like I'm missing a set, but it's from the last set, main core set. So just keep that in mind as well. So going back to Pile Bunker, sorry, I kind of went on a little tangent there. So it has the same effect as the previous 3 cards, where it can special itself as long as there's no face-up monsters or if all monsters are RB monsters. So again, makes it where even though it's a level 8, it's not technically a break because it is just a free special summon. You can only special summon this once per turn this way. And then when an attack is declared involving an opponent's monster and an RB the Brute Blues, which is this link monster here, you can pay 1,500 life points to destroy all cards your opponent controls and this card. You can only use this effect once per turn. So pretty much makes it where if you get to an RB Brute Blues, you can kind of go for like an OTK line, because there just has to be an attack declared involving an opponent's monster in the RB Brute Blues. So you can just declare an attack for Blues and then trigger the Pile Bunker to destroy all the cards on the field, which is really, really, really dumb, because it also pops the spell traps your opponent controls, which is really, really, really dumb. So even though it's like maybe not the greatest as interruption piece like Driller and Cutter is, it still probably will see some play, because being able to destroy all cards your opponent controls off an attack of the Brute Blues is still, I think, pretty much worth it in that scenario. So even though it's not the greatest compared to the other 3 we just talked about, still pretty good, and it's still a free extender at the end of the day as well. So that is what Pile Bunker does. Now on to RB Lambda Cannon. So the Lambda cards, Lambda Cannon and Lambda Blue, do not have the special summon effects like Cutter or the Gotens and the Valken guys did, because they all have free special summon effects. The Lambda cards do not have free special summon effects, unfortunately. So they are technically bricks in hand because they don't have that free special summon. But in turn, they get to do something when they are summoned, unlike what these cards do. So what Lambda Cannon does, by the way, which is a level 6 Dark Machine Monster with 1,200 attack and 1,200 defense. So its effect is, if this card is normal or special summon, you can target an RB monster in your graveyard, except for RB Lambda Cannon, add it to your hand, which is really insane. So just on summon, you're able to just add an RB card back, or RB monster, sorry. Add an RB monster back from your graveyard is absolutely ridiculous, which is kind of cool. But its second effect here is, while this card is linked to an RB link monster, kind of like all the other ones, if they all have additional effects when they're linked to a RB link monster, you can pay 1,200 life points, destroy this card, and if you do, look at your opponent's hand, then special summon 1 monster from it to their field, but negate its effects. And you can only use each effect of RB Lambda Cannon once per turn. So really, really good effect. So not only can it add back an RB monster from the graveyard, but it gets to look at your opponent's monster, take a monster out of it, and then just special summon it to their field and negate its effect. Really, 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 really good effect. Now, it doesn't really sound that good because it has to destroy itself, but being able to still look at your opponent's hand is very, very insane, and especially when it, in this metagame where getting full hand knowledge is kind of ridiculous. They have like triple tactic thrust and shit limited to 1 because of those reasons, right? So being able to do that. And then another thing is sometimes the deck does struggle against nib, and I'll talk about this more once we get to the deck lists. It does struggle against nib, so being able to hit a nib out of hand is really, really, really good. So it is worth doing that, to be honest with you. So a very good effect for RB there that they just got out of Doom Dimensions. And same thing with Lambda Blade, which is a level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dark machine monster with 1400 attack and 1400 defense. And the effects reads as follows. If this card is normal or special summon, you can send an RB card from your deck to the graveyard, except for Lambda Blade. Now, that doesn't sound as good because we only talked about the monsters, but once we get to the spell traps, you'll see why that might be a good effect for you, so just keep that in the back of your mind. And then during your opponent's main phase, if this card is linked to an RB link monster, you can quick effect, pay 1400 life points, then target one monster your opponent controls, destroy this card, and if you do, take control of that monster, but destroy it during the end phase. So not only can it send an RB card from deck to graveyard, but it can also just snatch steal an opponent's card or opponent's monster during your opponent's main phase, which is really insane to think about that can do that. A very, very good card there. So not only can it just send a card, but it also gets to snatch steal a card. So two very good cards, but the only thing that sucks about them is they're not free special summons, unlike what all these guys are. They're free special summons. These guys aren't, but they have, normal special summon effects on summon, which is pretty good. So that is it for the monsters. Now on to the spell traps. To be honest with you, probably the most broken things about this archetype is the spell traps and the link monsters. So what we'll be talking about first is RB Stage Landing, which is a normal spell card. The effects read as follows. You can special summon one RB monster from your deck / extra deck with different names than cards you control. Yep, just a free e-tally from deck or extra deck. Very, very insane. Doesn't even negate its effects. Doesn't even destroy it during the end phase. Very insane effect, and we haven't even got to the best part yet, which I'll talk about in 1 second. The second effect here, though, is if an RB monster you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead, and you cannot special summon from the extra deck the turn you activate this card, except for machine monsters with 1500 or less original attack. So, not only can it, e-tell you RB monster from deck or extra deck, but while it's in the graveyard, you can, if an RB monster would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can just banish this card from your graveyard instead, making it where it's protection as well, and making it where something like Lambda Blade does get some value because you can dump this card from deck to graveyard, and now you have a protection effect in your graveyard if your RBs ever get threatened. Now, the best thing about this card is it's not a once per turn. Yeah, this card is not a once per turn for some reason. So, so if you draw multiple of this card, you can activate multiple of this card. The fact that they did not make this a once per turn is very, 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 very broken, to be honest with you. And now, the downside is you can't summon from the extra deck except for machines with 1500 or less attack. There's really not that many in the game that's even remotely good for that, but so that is like the downside for that. But still, that's a very insane card for the extra or for the deck, where it's a non-once per turn e-tally from the deck or extra deck that doesn't negate its effects. Very insane card for the archetype. Now on to the field spell, RB Funk Dock, which is a field spell, like I just said, and the effects read as follows. When this card is activated, you can add one RB card from your deck to your hand, except for Funk Dock, and then each time a monster your opponent controls is destroyed by a battle or card effect, gain 500 life points. Then, if a face-up RB monster you control leaves the field by a card effect, except during this damage step, you can special summon one RB monster from your deck, and you can only use this effect of Funk Dock once per turn, and you can only activate one Funk Dock once per turn as well. So another extremely insane card. So a very, very good card. So not only does it get to add an RB card, which is anything, so you can add Stage Landing, you can add one of the traps, any of the monsters, which is very insane. Also gains life points each time your opponent's card is destroyed by card effect, which a lot of the RB cards are trying to do, which is kind of cool. But the third effect, with an RB monster you control leaves the field by a card effect, you can special summon an RB monster from your deck, is also very insane, because a lot of or pretty much all of them, if you activate their linked effect, they destroy themselves and then get the linked effect. Like this gets the pop-up monster, this is a spell trap negate, right? So you get that interruption, and while you have Funk Dock that did leave the field by card effect, you get to just special another RB from deck, which can get another interruption piece during your opponent's turn as well, which is a very insane card. Again, another very insane card for the deck. Like I said, the spell traps are really the most insane things about this deck, and the link monsters once we get to the link monsters. So a very insane card as well. Now on to Operation Test, RB Operation Test. This is another new card from Doom Dimensions, which is a continuous spell that reads as follows. If this card is activated, you can target a level 3 or higher RB monster in your graveyard, special summon it. Then its bottom effect here is you can target any number of RB monsters you control, gain life points equal to the combined original attack, and if you do, return them to hand or extra deck. Then you can special summon an RB monster from your hand. You can only use this effect of RB Operation Test once per turn. You can only activate one Operation Test once per turn. So another very insane card. Not only is it a monster reborn for any level 3 or higher RB monster, which is all of them. There is like this Driller's the level 3 is the lowest one, so this can special summon any of the main deck monsters from the graveyard. But the second effect is good as well because a lot of the or all the monsters make you pay life points for that linked effect. So being able to just return an RB monster from your field back to the hand and gain life points makes it where you're not losing as many life points, and you get to just free special summon an RB monster from your hand. So you can just target like let's say Valkyrie Rocket's on the field, add it back to hand, gain 1,000, and just re-special the Valkyrie Rocket because it doesn't specify that it has to be a different name than monsters you return to hand. So that is something to think about. So you don't even get to lose the value off of that. You can just target one of your monsters on field, return it to hand, gain the life points, and then just re-special summon that monster out to the field just to make sure you still have that monster for plays, right? So very, very good card as well. Now on to the trap cards. We have RB Last Stand. Both of the trap cards are new, so they're both from Doom Dimensions. Last Stand's effect reads, it's a normal trap card that reads as follows. You can special summon one RB monster from your deck, extra deck, or graveyard with a different name than the cards you control, which is very insane. So it gets another interruption piece from the deck, extra deck, or graveyard, which is kind of insane to think about. So just more interruption to think about. But for the rest of the turn after this card resolves, you cannot special summon from the extra deck except for machine monsters with 1,500 or less attack. And then the bottom effect here is when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets an RB monster you control, you can banish this card from your graveyard, negate that effect, and you can only use one RB Last Stand effect per turn and only once that turn. So both effects are pretty decent. So the top effect being able to just special an RB name from the deck to get interruption during your opponent's turn is not bad, but the bottom effect being able to target protection is also not bad because Lambda Blade can dump it from deck to graveyard, so being able to make it where your field can't be targeted is still pretty nice, right? So that's a very good card for the archetype. And then the last trap card here is RB Next Phase, which is a counter trap card that reads as follows. When your opponent activates a monster effect while you control an RB monster, destroy one monster you control, and if you do, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card, then gain 2,000 life points, and you can only activate one RB Next Phase once per turn. So really, really insane card as well. It's a counter trap that's being able to negate a monster, making it where they can't respond to it except by other counter traps, which is very insane. You get to destroy it. You have to destroy a monster to do it, but it's still not bad because you also do gain at that 2,000 life points, what makes it where paying life points for these guys isn't as bad because you're gaining more life points for their effects. So that is it for the main deck. Now on to the extra deck portion, which is also very insane, is RB Valken Booster, which is a Link 2 monster with 500 attack, fire machine monster with 500 attack, and its arrows pointing up and down. So its effect is it requires 2 machine monsters to go into. If this card is Link Summon, you can add 1 RB spell card from your deck to your hand, which is very insane because all the spell cards are like the most broken cards in the deck, right? So that's a very, very good. And then if this card is in the extra monster zone, you can special summon 1 RB monster from your hand or graveyard in defense position. Then you can move this card you control to another one of your main monster zones. You cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except for machine monsters with 1,500 or less attack. And you only use each effect of the RB Valken Booster once per turn. So that's kind of like the restriction this archetype kind of restricts you in, is you can't summon anything from the extra deck except for machine monsters with 1,500 or less attack. So that's kind of the downside with the deck because a lot of things do restrict you that way. But it's still worth it because like a lot of the stuff is broken in this archetype, so that's like something to think about. So this card is very insane. Not only can it add an RB spell card, which is like the most broken cards in the deck, but it can also special summon a RB monster from hand or graveyard and then place itself from the extra monster zone to the main monster zone, which helps you get into the Link 3 monsters pretty easily. So as long as you can get to the Link 2, you can pretty much get to the Link 3 monsters, which is really good for you as well. So an overall insane. Also, 2 machine monsters makes it generic where you can actually splash other machine archetypes in this deck as well. And now, on to the Link 3 monsters. We're talking about RB the Brute Blues, which is a Link 3 Wind Machine Monster with 1500 attack, and the arrows pointing down left, down, and then down right. And the effect reads as follows: 2+ machine monsters to go into. Gains the following effects while this card is points to an RB monster. It gains attack equal to the total original attack of RB monsters pointing to it. It can make it a second attack during the battle phase, and it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect. And the bottom effect here is during your main phase, you can add an RB card from your deck to your hand, and you can only use this effect of RB the Brute Blues once per turn. So not only is it kind of like a big boss monster for you to kind of go second with and try to OTK, because not only does it gain attack equal to all the RB monsters it's pointing to, but it also gets to make a second attack during the battle phase, and it can't be destroyed by battle or card effects, but also gets to add just any RB card from your deck to your hand, which is very insane. And to think about, you also have to remember RB Stage Landing can special these guys from the extra deck for free. So even though it technically is a Link 3, with just Stage Landing, you can just special out the Brute Blues all by itself without having monsters on field. So very insane thing to think about with this card as well. And then the last Link monster we have here is RB the Shepherd's Crook, which is a Dark Machine Monster, Link 3 with 1500 attack with its arrows pointing to the left, down arrow, and then bottom right arrow as well. And the requirements to make this card is 2+ monsters, including an RB monster. So it gains 500 attack for each monster you control except this card, and you can only use each of the following effects of RB's Shepherd's Crook once per turn. During the main phase, you can set one RB trap card from your deck to the graveyard, which is insane because you can set the counter trap, or even like if you need more interruptions, Last Stand as well. And then during your opponent's main phase, quick effect, you can target 3 level 3 or higher RB monsters in your graveyard, place 2 to the bottom of the deck in any order, and if you do, special the other one in defense position. So it makes it where if you do go combo turn 1, you get a lot of RB monsters in the graveyard. Makes it where you can special summon out one of the interruption pieces and then shuffle back like other guys just so you have more monsters in the deck for later like turns, so you can search and get more RB monsters for like turn 3s and stuff like that. So overall, a very insane card as well. Being able to set a trap card from the deck is very insane. And then being able to target level 3 or higher RBs, shuffling, placing 2 to the bottom, and then special summoning another, makes it where you can get another interruption piece for your opponent's turn as well. So that is it for the card analysis portion of the video. Now let's get into the deck list, shall we? Alrighty, now on to the pure deck list for RB. So there's a lot of things I will have to talk about with this deck lists in particular, but before we get into all of that, I want to talk about the ratios in general. So the first thing I will start off with is just ratios for the RB monsters. So as you can see, what I'm doing right now is pretty much playing 2 of every one of the names that can just free special themselves. You're playing only 1 Lambda Blade and 1 Cannon because you don't really necessarily need to play more than one of this, because they are bricks in hand. These are the ones that do not special themselves out to the field for free, unlike all these guys do. So there's really no point to playing more than one of these because they are accessible through a lot of stuff in the deck. So you only necessarily need 1. You don't want to draw these cards because they are bad to draw. These other cards you're fine with drawing because, again, you don't necessarily need to play. Again, they're just free extenders, so you don't necessarily need to like brick on these, because if you end up drawing it, you can just special themselves out to the field and it's still pretty good. So I'm on 2 of each. You can get away with just playing 3 of them. To be honest with you, like playing 3, 3, 3, 3, then 1 and 1. That's still perfectly fine because, again, they are just free extenders. They're not going to be that much of a brick in the hand. But I am playing 2 because we are playing like other 1-card combos that I'll talk about in just 1 second. So I just cut them down to 2 for that reason. But again, if you end up drawing these cards, they're still perfectly fine because, again, they are just free extenders, so they're never going to be a brick for you ever. These guys will be bricks, so that's why they are played at 1. Now on to the spell trap ratio. So I'm playing 3 Funk Dock, 3 Stage Landing, and then 1 Operation Test. That's all you really need for this deck, to be honest with you, because Stage Landing and Funk Dock are the most broken cards in the deck, to be honest with you. So you want to max out on these cards. You want to see this card, especially Funk Dock, because Funk Dock, when an RB leaves the field by a card effect is very, very broken. So you always want to make sure you have Funk Dock in rotation for that effect to be live at all times. So Stage Landing and Funk Dock, I think you do need to play 3 of these cards. You have no choice. This is not a once per turn, so it's very, very broken. It's searchable in the archetype. Like, you need to play 3 of this card for sure. And then Funk Dock, you want to open this card. This is the card you want to see. You always want to have the field spell in rotation, so you want to max out on Funk Dock as well. I'm only playing 1 Operation Test because you only necessarily need one. It's searchable in the archetype. Like, you don't necessarily want to draw this card because you have to have RB monsters in the graveyard for this to be live anyway. So you much rather search this card than trying to open this card. So I'm only playing the one. It is searchable in the archetype, so it's perfectly fine to play at 1. And then for the traps, I'm playing 2 Last Stand and 1 Next Phase. You could probably get away with 1 and 1, to be honest with you, but since I am playing Pure, I'm just going to play it at 2. Again, Last Stand is not terrible to draw, especially going first, because again, it does just special an RB monster from deck, extra deck, or graveyard, which can get you more interruption pieces. And then you're playing 2, because if you end up drawing 1, the second one can always be dumped off the Lambda Blade to make sure you have the target protection in the graveyard as well. So that's why I'm kind of playing 2, because you can set 1 and then have the second one to be dumped off a Lambda Blade to make sure you have the target protection live as well if you want to. But again, you can only use one of the effects per turn. So maybe you can get away with just 1, but I'm playing 2 because again, it is just the pure deck list. And it's not bad to draw because it does get you another name as well. And then I'm only playing 1 Next Phase because you only necessarily need one next phase because this is just a counter trap that negates a monster effect. You only really need this turn 1. You never want to try to draw this card turn going second or something like that. So you only necessarily need 1 of this as well. So those are the ratios for the RBs that I'm playing. Again, you can get away with 3 of the extenders, like playing 3 of each extender, because again, they are just extenders, so they're never going to be a brick in hand. I will say you probably want to play 1 Lambda Cannon and Blade, because they are just bricks in hand. You don't really want to draw those cards. Max out on these spell traps, Stage Landing and Funk Dock, because they're the most broken cards in the deck. 1 Operation Test is fine. You can get away with 1 Last Stand if you want to, but I'm playing 2, and then 1 Next Phase as well. So 20 engine cards for the RB monsters in this deck. Now, another thing that's really cool you can do with RB is Clockwork Knight plus Therion King Regulus. I think this will be a mainstay in the deck, especially since they got themselves an operation or continuous spell in Operation Test, because the cool thing you can do is Clockwork Knight. So Clockwork Knight is one of those few machine monsters that you can special from the extra deck with 1500 or less attack. That actually does something, because if this card is Link Summon, you can send a face-up continuous spell you control to the graveyard, add a Clockwork Knight from your deck to your hand. So basically, you only need to play 1 and 1 of this, because Clockwork Knight is searchable through the extra deck Clockwork Knight. So the idea with this is what you want to do is you want to get to Operation Test. If you can get the Operation Test, you can go link into a Clockwork Knight using like Driller, Cutter, or I think Valkyrie Rocket can do it as well. Yeah, Valkyrie Rocket can also do it as well. Let me make sure nothing else can do. Yeah. So Driller, Cutter, and Valkyrie Rocket into a Clockwork Knight, and then Clockwork Knight effects, sending the Operation Test from the graveyard to add Clockwork Knight from the hand. Then you can link off a Clockwork Knight plus any other machine or any other monster in general into Barricade Lord Blocker, which is again another machine monster with 1500 less attack that you can summon from the extra deck. If this card is link summoned, you can discard a card during the end phase, add 1 continuous or field spell card from your graveyard to your hand. Now the good thing about this card is it just discards a card. So you can discard the Clockwork Knight that you just search to get it to the graveyard, so you can get the bottom effect of this card. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then discard 1 card, add 1 Earth Machine monster from your deck to your hand. So that can either be Therion King Regulus, which turns into an Omni Negate for you if you want, or you can just search for Driller or Cutter or Pile Bunker, because they're also Earth Machine monsters that you can special or search from the deck. So Clockwork Knight not only can search for Therion King Regulus, but can search for RB monsters that you maybe don't have in rotation at that point. So Clockwork Knight has kind of double function as well, and depending on the matchup, that Floodgate effect could matter as well. So that's something I think you'll probably see in a lot of RB decks, not only pure but other, like we're going to be talking about Machina and Sky Striker today as well. So Clockwork Knight can also be put in those, because again, this is just a pretty nice card you can play with the RB stuff, because the RB stuff can search this continuous spell and then link off one of these smaller RBs into Clockwork Knight, send this continuous spell to the graveyard to search Clockwork Knight, and then go Barricade, discard the Clockwork Knight to get more, Regulus or something like that as well. So I think this will be a mainstay in these decks for sure as well, something to think about as well. And now for other cards I'm playing, so there are a lot of 1-card combos. Like I said, I'm going to be talking about Machina and Sky Striker as well, but I think those are specific decks that do different things, so I'm talking about them in different portions of the videos. Again, if you want to know those kind of deck lists, there will be timestamps in the link in the description to help you skip to those deck lists. But for this deck list, I'm just playing like 1-card combos that aren't technically a part of an archetype that does different things, right? Like Speedroid Terratop, you could play like more Speedroids, but overall, there's really no point, because The Speedroid, Terratop, and one Tomborg is all you really need. While with like Machina, you can do more stuff with the Machina stuff. And same thing with Sky Striker, you can do a lot more stuff with the Sky Striker stuff as well. And then Tether Wolf is again a Mecha Phantom Beast card. If you don't know what this card does, is that this card's normal summon. You can special summon a Mecha Phantom Beast token to your field, which is a machine monster. That's 2 machine monsters to go into Valken Booster. And that's the reason why you're playing these 1-card combos, because these 1-card combos both equal 2 machine monsters, which helps you get into Valken Booster. And then if you can get the Valken Booster can pretty much access the rest of the RB monsters from your deck. So that is, again, something to think about as well. So Terratop can search for Tomborg, and they're both machine monsters. Again, this says that if you control no monster, you can special summon this card. Now, if you need to like special summon an RB monster, you can just normal summon this card. Again, this deck doesn't really have a normal summon. That's perfectly fine with you. This can trigger our normal or special summon to add Tomborg from the deck anyway, so that doesn't necessarily matter that much. So these are just like normal summons that you can just normal summon in the deck that gets you an extra body, and then link off into extra deck plays after that. Because again, this deck doesn't really have a normal summon. So playing those 1-card combos for the deck. So that is it for this, for the main, or for the engine portions of the deck. Now onto the non-engine. This can be whatever the hell you want it to be. I fit 13 in. For 13 non-engine in for a 42-card deck. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be this non-engine. You can load up on hand traps if you want to. But if you want to play like a more board breaker approach, playing like thrust and shit like that, you can also do that if you want to as well. Like, you can play like Songs of the Dominators in here as well, because all the RB monsters do not trigger anything from hand or graveyard, so it's never really a problem for you. Like the special summon is special from hand, but that's not an activated effect, so songs can trigger if you want to, but it really depends, because then it can conflict with your like whatever other engine that you're playing with it. But in like the pure version, that you can get away with that if you really want to. Like, it will never conflict with Terratop, it'll never conflict with Tether Wolf. So if you want to play songs, you could as well. Same thing with Dominus Spiral. There technically is darks in the deck, but like these aren't as necessary, so like you can get away with Dominus Spiral if you want to. I don't necessarily like Dominus Spiral, because even though it is a compulse, they can also special your opponent can also special a monster from their graveyard if they want to. So like you have to time it really correctly, where the monster that you compulse was super important to them, that the graveyard special summon doesn't necessarily matter. So that is something you can do in the deck, as well as do a Dominus Spiral that's coming out of Doom of Dimensions as well. But again, there are some decks or darks in the deck, so that can conflict, because this makes it where you can't activate light or dark monsters for the rest of the duel. So you just have to choose your battles, basically, is what I'm trying to say there. The non-engine can just be whatever the hell you want it to be. But again, there's 13 non-engine in this deck in a 42-card deck. So again, if you want to change your non-engine up, do whatever the hell you want to do with it. Now onto the extra deck. So pretty much you're just playing 3 of every Link monster, because again, since the restriction of like stage landing and stuff like that makes it where you can't really play anything else in your extra deck, you just kind of max out on all the RB monsters, because they're really the only good machine monsters with 1500 or less attack in the extra deck that you can special summon. So you just kind of max out on this, and then you play like Clockwork Knight. I'm only playing 2 here. You can play 3 if you really want to. Like, it's fine. I think you do need to play at least 2 though, for sure. I'm playing an Ancient Gear Ballista, not even for its like top effect. The bottom effect could be cool. You can target a spell trap you control, and one face-up monster your opponent controls. Destroy that card. If you do, change the opponent's attack to 0 until the end of the turn, which is kind of cool. But again, not really necessary. But it's just another Earth Machine, or it's another machine monster with 1500 or less attack that you can summon. We already talked about the Barricade Board Blocker with like the nice inner thing with Clockwork Knight, so that's not bad either. So that's why this is in here, for that Clockwork Knight kind of play. I'm playing SP and Sky Crisis just in case. These are like the generic cards in the extra deck. They're, you could summon if you somehow did not lock yourself into 1500 or less attack machine monsters from the extra deck. Then these are cards in the extra deck that you could make. But I think these are the only 2 like generic cards you can play, because the rest of the extra deck has to be made summonable off the restriction. So these are the only 2 cards that you play, that just in case if you don't get restricted, you can still make if you need to. So that's why you have to play a little bit more Clockwork Knights, in my opinion, as well, so you can make SP a little bit more live as well. So you can get away with like 2 or 3 of this. I'm playing 2, but 2 is fine. I think 1 is probably way too few of an amount. I think you have to play 2 or 3. So that is it for the pure deck list. Is there anything else I want to talk about right now before I get to the combos? I think I pretty much talked about everything. These are extenders. The spell traps are broken. Yeah. This is it for the deck list. So yeah, without further ado though, let's get into the combos, shall we? Alrighty, now on to the combo portion of the video for the pure RB deck list here. So I have 3 combos to show you. I have 2 1-card combos and then a 1.5 card combo to show you off with this. And then after that, I'll be doing 3 5-card sample hands with the deck as well. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the 1-card combos, shall we? So the first one we're going to be showing off here is with RB Stage Landing. So this 1 card by itself can do full RB combo, which is absolutely ridiculous. It's also not a once per turn. This card is absolutely just ridiculous for the archetype, not going to lie with you. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the combo, shall we? So we're going to standby main phase, activate Stage Landing effect here to go ahead and special from the extra deck in RB the Brute Blues. Now the dumb thing about this is its effects are not negated, so you go the Brute Blues effect to go ahead and search out a Funk Dock from the deck as well. So here's the thing. Another thing I probably should have said before getting into this is that Funk Dock is also a 1-card combo by itself because it's able to search for Stage Landing. Now, if you don't have Funk Dock in your hand, it's very important to get to this card no matter what, because you want to have this card in the field spell at all times. So if you don't have Funk Dock off the first search of this Brute Blues, you want to search for Funk Dock. But obviously, if you started off your 1-card combo with Funk Dock, then you can search for something else. But since we did not start with Funk Dock, we'll search for Funk Dock here, and then activate Funk Dock to pretty much do the same thing what Brute Blue does, to search for another RB card, which in this case we'll search for another Stage Landing. Then we'll go ahead and do Stage Landing effect to go ahead and special out RB Lambda Cannon here from the deck, and then Lambda Cannon effect, paying 1,200 life points to destroy this card, and then look at our opponent's hand. So basically, get to look at your opponent's hands, get to the full knowledge of what they have in their hand, and then special, like if they have like a Nibiru or something, to play around that kind of scenario, special it to their field. So this is what this token is going to represent, is you special a monster from their hand. So it could be like a Ghost Spell, whatever hand trap you want to play around. Like Nibiru is the big one, so that's the reason why you're doing it this way, is so you can play around Nibiru, because the deck really doesn't have another way to play around Nibiru except for Lambda Cannon, so that's why. So let's just assume this is Nibiru, but now they have a 4-card hand, you have full knowledge of what you're playing against, and you get to, you know, take a card that could be a problem out of their hand as well. And then on a new chain, Funk Dock will trigger, since an RB monster you control leaves a field by card effect. Lambda Cannon left the field by destroying itself, so that does trigger Funk Dock to go ahead and special out Lambda Blade from the deck here. Lambda Blade effect, we'll go ahead and dump Gotin Driller from the deck here. Now we can go ahead and just link both Brute Blues and the Lambda Blade into Valken Booster. Valken Booster effect to go ahead and trigger and search for the 3rd RB Stage Landing, because again, this shit is not a once per turn for some reason. And then we'll go ahead and do a Valken Booster effect, targeting the Lambda Cannon, special out Lambda Cannon in defense, and then put the Valken Booster into the monster zone as well. Now that is an optional effect. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, but that is something you could do. So in this scenario, I just do it. You don't have to do it, but you could do it if you want to as well. And then we'll do Lambda Cannon effect to go ahead and add back from the graveyard Driller. So we never triggered that first effect, so we get to do that effect, adding the Driller that we dumped off the Lambda Blade to add it back to hand. Now we can just link off the booster and the cannon to go into Shepherd's Cook. Shepherd's Cook effect will trigger to go ahead and set a trap card from the deck. In this case, we'll set for RB next phase here. Set the phase, we'll go Stage Landing effect to go ahead and special out the Cutter here. And then we'll go ahead and just special out the Driller, because we never special it by its own effect, so we can special it out to the field. And then with that scenario, we'll pass on that. Now, there is one thing that I don't know the ruling of, so I think this is correct. So during the main phase, you can do the Driller effect to pop itself and the token, and then do one of the Stage Landings to protect the Driller. In that scenario, it should destroy their monster but protect your monster. Now, the reason why I have a question, or like a little bit of a, reason why I'm throwing it out there, is because it has to destroy both that monster and this card. So I don't know if you can Stage Landing protect and still destroy this monster. I don't know the ruling on that. I would assume you could, so if you can do it that way, then in main phase you would go Driller, destroy the monster you summon from hand, so you don't have to worry about it, and then Stage Landing, just protect the Driller, so make sure you still have it for interruption during your opponent's turn as well. But again, I don't know the ruling, because it does have to destroy both, so I think if Driller doesn't get destroyed, would this get destroyed as well? I don't know, so I'm just going to keep it in the video. I think it should work that way, where Driller can destroy this card and Stage Landing can still protect it to keep it on the field. But I don't know, so I'm just going to keep the field how it is. But this is your interruption piece. So you have Driller, which is a monster pop, Cutter, a spell trap negation. This can special back a RB monster by targeting 3, put 2 to the bottom, and then special 1 back. You have a monster negate and next phase, and you have 3 stage landings to make it where your RB monsters that would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can just banish that card from the graveyard instead. So that is also just protection as well. So going into it, so main phase, you have the monster. You do have to pay 500 life points for this, but you get to destroy a monster on their field, and you also gain 500 because if a monster, each time a monster your opponent controls is destroyed by battle or card effect, you gain 500 life points. In this case, Driller did destroy it by card effect, so you gain 500 life points from that. And then you have Shepherd Hood's effect. You can target the Cutter, the Lambda Blade, and the Cannon, the level 3 or higher monsters in graveyard. You put 2 to the bottom, so in this case, we put Cannon and Driller back because we already triggered Driller's effect to go ahead and special out Lambda Blade. Lambda Blade effect will trigger on normal or special to send an RB card. Now we can send Last Stand, which is now a targeted protection for our monsters as well, which is pretty good. And then we still have this Cutter effect to spell trap negate a guy as well. It destroys itself on the field. And we have Dock effect since a card was destroyed, RB card was destroyed. We get a special another RB monster from deck. In this case, we summon Pile Bunker, which would be cool if we have Brute Blues on the field, but we don't, so it's just kind of just a body on field for now. And then we have Lambda Blade effect to go ahead and pay 1,400 life points, destroy itself, and then Snatch Steal a dude. So this token will just represent a monster from that you Snatch Steal. And then you have next phase as well, which is a monster negate. You have to destroy a monster you control, so I just destroy the monster that we Snatch Steal off a Lambda Blade, and then you gain 2,000 life points, and you also negate a monster effect as well. So that was kind of the interruption. Just off of one card, you have Lambda Blade, a Cutter, so that's a Snatch Steal, a Spell Trap negation, a Monster negation off of next phase, and a Monster Pop off of, what's his name, Driller, which could be another one depending on what the ruling is. I just don't know the ruling. So, and then you have all this protection as well. You still have Stage Landing, which protects stuff. You have Last Stand, which is a targeted protection as well. So you have like so many ways to protect those monsters as well, so you can at least use them to their full potential as well. So that was the 1-card combo with the deck. Now let's get into the other 1-card combo I want to show off. Alrighty, now on to the other 1-card combo, which pretty much just involves any way to or any of the 1-card combos that we're playing with Speedroid Terratop or Tetherwolf. So that's the other 1-card combos that we're going to be showing off today. So this can either be Tetherwolf or Speedroid Terratop. Either one does do the same thing pretty much. If you want to do other engines as well that does 1-card combos, something like Scrap Recycler comes to mind as well. If you want to do something like that, that also works in this scenario as well. And also another thing is that 2 RB monsters do the same combo as this. So if you open 2 Extender RB monsters, that pretty much still equals this combo here as well. So what does this combo do? So we can just normal summon Tetherwolf here, activate the effect to special out 2 tokens. So basically, if you get 2 machine monsters on field, that's what this combo does. So 2 RB monsters that special itself, 1 Tetherwolf or 1 Terratop that searches for Takatombo or can Takatombo or special itself, right? But you just have 2 machine monsters to go ahead and go for Falcon Booster. Falcon Booster effect to go ahead and search for a spell. Since we don't have Funk Dock, we'll get Funk Dock. Funk Dock effect will trigger then to search for a Stage Landing, and then we'll go Stage Landing effect to go ahead and summon out Lambda Cannon. This is so we can play around the Nibiru, the Primal Being, which is kind of a problem for this deck. You always want to try to play around that card as much as possible, which Cannon does. Now we can do Cannon effect, paying 1,200 life points to destroy itself, and then look at our opponent's hand, which, you know, can take whatever from our hand, and we get the full knowledge of what they're playing and what hand traps to play around and stuff like that as well. And then we have Funk Dock effect, since an RB was destroyed by card effect to special an RB monster from the deck here. We'll summon out Lambda Blade. Lambda Blade effect will go ahead and then just dump a guy with some Cutter in this scenario. And then we can go Falcon Booster effect to go ahead and summon out Cannon. Again, I just move it. You don't have to move it. That's an optional effect. But I do move it just because. And then we have Lambda Cannon effect to go ahead and add back the Cutter that we sunned off the Lambda Blade there. And then we can go Link 3 into a RB, the Brute Blues, and then do this effect to go ahead and search for just another Stage Landing here, which is fine. And then go Stage Landing effect to go ahead and special out the Shepherd's Cook from the extra deck here. And then Shepherd's Cook effect to go ahead and set a trap card from the deck, which in this case will be the next phase, which is the counter trap, which is pretty good. And then we'll just special out the Cutter here, and we'll just pass on that. Again, if you have Driller to pop this monster, if that's the ruling how I think it would work, then you can do Driller, pop this, and then protect it off a Stage Landing, and then you have another interruption for your opponent's turn as well. But it's just depending on what that ruling is. I just don't know that ruling yet. So in the main phase here, you have a Spell Trap negation off of the Cutter here, and then you can do Funk Dock effect to go ahead and special out the other the Driller here, and then Driller paying 500 500 life points will destroy a monster here. Now, you'll gain 500 life points off of Funk Dock as well, since a monster was destroyed by card effect, which I just forgot to do in this scenario. Now you have Lambda Blade effect here to go ahead and destroy itself to snatch steal a guy as well. And then you have Shepherd's Cook still to go ahead and shuffle back Cannon, Driller, target Cannon, Driller, and Lambda Blade. You shuffle back Lambda Blade and Driller to go ahead and special Cannon. Cannon effect will just go ahead and get Cutter here as well. Now, unfortunately, the look at hand effect unfortunately isn't a quick effect, so you can't do that. But we already went through all the interruptions that the deck has, so that doesn't necessarily matter. Just gets like follow-up play. Again, you still have like protection in the graveyard, and you still have the next phase effect to destroy a monster you control and negate a monster effect, and then gain 2,000 life points as well. And then you still have like Brute Blues that's gaining attack, so it's gaining what? It's its original attack. So you're gaining what? It's at 4,700. Yeah, this is 3K, 4,200, sorry. So you have 4,200. This is also at 2,500 because it gains 500 for each monster on the field except for itself, which is good. So, like, these are just big guys right now, and then you also still have the protection. So off of just that one card combo, you still pretty much got to everything from the other card combo, just a little bit different way to play it there. So that was that one card combo. Now let's get into our 1.5 card combo as well. Alrighty, now on to the 1.5 card combo for us. So again, you just need a Funk Dock plus any card to discard. It doesn't have to be full. You just need a card to discard for this combo. Now, we're starting off with Funk Dock here as well. That's really good because we don't have to search it through our other guys as well, which is important because if you have to search Funk Dock, it's not that much of a problem. But like starting off with Funk Dock is fine because now you don't have to search it. You can use your searches for something else as well. So we'll go Funk Dock effect to go ahead and search for Stage Landing here, and then go Stage Landing effect to go ahead and special out the Brute Blues. The Blues effect will go ahead and search for another Stage Landing, and then activate Stage Landing to go into Cannon to help you play around the Nibiru here. So pretty much the same as the one card combo that I've been showing off. So Cannon effect will trigger, pay 1,200, rip a card out of their hand, a monster to their field, and then effect of Funk Dock, since a RB monster was destroyed, to special another RB monster. Lambda Blade effect triggers just to dump a RB monster. We'll go ahead and some Driller here. And then we'll link off the Brute Blues and the Lambda Blade to go ahead and make ourselves the Valken Booster. And the Valken Booster effect to search for a spell. In this case, we'll search for Operation Test here. And then go ahead and do Operation Test here to go ahead and special out Driller. And then link off the Driller and go into a Clockwork Knight. Clockwork Knight effect triggers to send the Operation Test from the graveyard, or from the field to the graveyard, to go ahead and search for Clockwork Knight. And then we'll do Valken Booster effect to go ahead and special itself to the field. Or special from the graveyard to Cannon, and then moving itself to the main monster zone. And then do Cannon effect, because we haven't triggered the first effect to add back, so we'll add back the Driller that we dumped off the Lambda Blade. And then go ahead and then link off the Cannon and the Clockwork Knight into a Barricade Board Blocker. Barricade effect, discarding the Clockwork Knight to add back a field spell or a continuous spell during the end phase, which does matter, but you're just using it to discard a card is all that really matters in this scenario. Link off the Valken Booster and the Barricade Board Blocker to go ahead and make ourselves the Shepherd's Cook, because this is 2 monsters plus an RB monster, so it works with this scenario to go into Shepherd's Cook. Shepherd's Cook effect will go and set a trap, which in this case will be next phase, and then go ahead and go Clockwork Knight effect here, discarding the Fuwa, the half card, whatever. It doesn't have to be Fuwa, just any card that we started off with. So Fuwa was the card we started off with. We discarded that card to go ahead and search for Regulus here, and then go activate Regulus, just target a machine monster in graveyard. In this case, I just target one of the Link monsters, because that's the one that doesn't matter in the graveyard, so I just target a Falcon Booster. And then we'll just special out the Driller and then go to end phase. Again, if Driller's effect does matter, if you can trigger it in the main phase and protect off a Stage Landing and still pop this card, then do it. Again, I think it works like that. I'm like 80% sure it works like that, but I still have that doubt because it does say destroy both this card and that monster. So if you don't destroy this card, I don't know if this gets destroyed or not. But if it does work like that, where you can protect off the Stage Landing and still destroy that card, do that in the main phase because that is value, so you don't have to worry about this card. And then we'll pass on that. So our interruptions here are going to be a pop off a Driller here. So pay 500 to pop a monster on their field, then you gain another 500 off of Funk Dock as well. And then Funk Dock effect triggers to go ahead and special a different RB or an RB monster from the deck, since an RB was destroyed by card effect because they destroyed themselves for card effect. Now you have a spell trap negation off of Cutter, but before that you also have Shepherd Cook because you have Driller, Cannon, and Lambda Blade, so you can target those 3, put 2 to the bottom. In this case, we'll put Driller and Cannon, and then summon out Lambda Blade. Lambda Blade effect will trigger to send out the Last Stand from deck, so now you have the targeted protection. And then Lambda Blade effect is now a Snatch Steal as well, so you have Cutter, which is a spell trap, so you pay 700, negate a spell trap, and then you have Lambda Blade playing 1400 to go ahead and Snatch Steal a monster. And then you have the next phase, which is a monster negate, paying 2,000 and destroying a monster you control, which will just destroy the monster that we Snatch Steal. And then you still have Regulus, which is an Omni negate as well. So pretty much with this 1.5 card combo, you get to the same combo, but with Regulus on field, which is really, really, really good because Regulus just gets you an Omni negate on top of being a Snatch. You know, you have a Snatch Steal, a Spell Trap negate, a Monster negate, a Monster pop, and a Omni negate off of that as well. So that was the 1.5 card, is pretty much you get to Regulus as well, with the half card being able to discard off of the Clockwork Knight. So that was the combos I wanted to show off. Now let's get into the 5-card sample hand, shall we? Alrighty, now for the 5-card sample hand. So again, like I said, I will be showing off 3 5-card sample hands with the deck. So starting off with the first one, we'll give just a quick little shuffle up here, and then we'll draw ourselves our 5 cards for turn. So draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's not a bad hand. You know, the 2-card combo plus, like, I mean, next phase kind of sucks to draw, but it's fine. We can work with it. That doesn't necessarily matter. But drawing impermanent droplet is pretty good as well. So standby main phase, I'll actually just start with Funk Dock, to be honest with you, to get a search first before, like, if we need to play into draw or something like that. In this scenario, I guess I'll just get Stage Landing, which is fine. This is a little bit of a weird way to play it. How do I want to play this hand? We still have Tetherwolf. Like, Tetherwolf is just really, really, really good. To be honest with you, the only thing that sucks about this deck is, like, you know, since the machine lock does really suck, there's not that many machine monsters in the game that has 1,500 less attack in the extra deck. That's, like, you know, good. That's kind of the problem with the deck, is the extra deck is, like, not as there as you want it to be. But this is still, like, manageable, right? We can go Tetherwolf to, like, force out hand traps. I like Stage Landing. Like, it just really dependent on how we want to do this. I guess we can go Tetherwolf effect, special the token. Oh, no, we want to play around Nib, though. That's very important. I want to play around Nib. So I guess we'll go Stage Landing first. So we'll go Stage Landing, go ahead and special out the Brute Blues. Blues effect will trigger to go ahead and just search for another Stage Landing, which is fine. And then activate Stage Landing to go ahead and search for Lambda Cannon. And then we'll go Lambda Cannon effect, paying 1,200 life points. Sorry, I forgot. I do have to type this out. Oh, fuck. Why am I lagging now? Okay, there we go. Destroy itself. Look at your opponent's hands. You get full hand knowledge, what you're trying to play around, and you special a monster to their field as well. It's an optional effect for that, by the way. If you don't want to special a monster to their field, you don't have to. That is an optional effect, but it's still good just to kind of rip a card out of the hand, which is nice. Again, if Driller does what I think it does, then you could do that way. But now we can go effective Funk Dock, since Cannon was destroyed, to special out the Lambda Blade, wherever Lambda Blade is at. There we go. Lambda Fade effect to dump out Driller from the deck, wherever Driller is at. Driller, there he is. Dump Driller from the deck here. And now we can normal summon Tetherwolf. Tetherwolf effect, special a token. Then link off Brute Blues and the token to go into Valken Booster, and then Valken Booster effect to search for a continuous spell, or search for a spell, but in this case we're going to search for, if I can find them, Operation Test. We still have a lot of things we can do. This is like really, really cool what we can do. I guess we can go Operation Test, special out the Driller, and then just, oh, we don't even have to do that. I guess it's fine. Then we can go effect of Operation Test, target Lambda Blade, add it back to hand, gaining 1,400 life points, and then just re-special out the Lambda Blade. And then go link this off into Clockwork Knight. Clockwork Knight effect triggers, sending this to the graveyard to search for Clockwork Knight. If I can find it, there it is. And then now we can go effective Valken Booster, special out Lambda Cannon. I won't move it to the monster zone. It's an optional effect. And then effect of Lambda Cannon, adding this back to hand here. And then we can go link 2 into Barricade Board Blocker. blocker effect, discarding the Clockwork Knight, and then go link these off into Brute Blue into the extra monster zone, and then link this off into a Shepherd's Cook, and then we can go Shepherd Cook effect. And I guess in this case, we'll just set the last stand, which is very unfortunate because we drew the next phase. And then I don't want to discard next phase, though, because that's like really good for us. How do I want it? What do I want to discard off of this? I guess we just discard Imperm or drop, or Imperm is fine. I guess we can go Clockwork Knight effect, banish, discarding Imperm, and then search for Regulus. We can search for Cutter if you want to as well. It's just really dependent on what the hand is. But in this case, we do always search Regulus, so we can get the Omni Negate. We'll go Regulus effect. We can equip the Barricade to this, actually. That's really good because it can target any machine, right? That's just why it's good. Then we'll just equip the Barricade. And then we'll just special out Driller to the field, set these two guys, and we just have a lot of stuff now. Again, you can do this effect. Again, if this works how I think it works, you can just banish the stage landing and then destroy this monster. I don't know. Again, I just don't know because it does say destroy both of them. So I don't know if it works that way. I know someone in the comments will tell me if it does work like that or it doesn't. Please tell me and I'll put it in I'll pin you to the top comment that if it works like that or not. If it does, then do this in the main phase, and then now you have so many interruptions because now they're on a 4. They'll draw 5 cards hand turn, and then you have just a lot to do with this hand because you have this effect to pop a monster, which I guess you paid 500 life points last time, but again, this will make you gain 500 life points since you destroyed a monster by a card effect. Or since an opponent's monster was destroyed by battle or card effect, it gains 5. So basically, the Driller is covered for free because Funk Dock will just gain you back 500 life points. And since a RB monster was destroyed by card effect, you can go Funk Dock, special out a Cutter from the deck here. And then now you have a Spell Trap Negate off a Cutter, and then you have Brute, or not, it's not Brute Blue's effect, sorry. It's Shepherd's Cook effect. Targeting Driller, Blade, and Cannon, bottom deck this, and then special out Lambda Blade. Lambda Blade effect will trigger to dump out Last Stand to the graveyard, so now you have the targeted protection now. And then you have a Spell Trap Negate, paying 700 life points to negate a Spell Trap. You have this, paying 1,400 life points to Snatch Steal a monster as well. And then you have the Counter Trap, which is kind of cool as well. So you have next phase, destroying the monster you would take, and then gain 2,000 life points. And then you have Regulus, which is just an Omni Negate as well. You have RB Last Stand, a special from deck, to special out Pile Bunker to a zone that our Brute Blue points to. So if they ever declare an attack on the Brute Blues, now you just like have fun because now I'm going to destroy your entire field off of Pile Bunker, which is kind of cool as well. You still have Droplet as a negation as well. Like a lot of stuff. And you have all this protection in the graveyard, which like with Last Stand and Stage Landing. Actually, Last Stand's you can only use one of the effects per turn, but still protection nonetheless as well. So pretty good 5-card sample hand. Now let's get into our next 5-card sample hand. Alrighty, time for the second 5-card sample hand here. So I'm going to shuffle up here and just draw 5 cards here. If lets me draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, that hand was nearly not good. So we drew Cannon, which is kind of the one thing that sucks about drawing Cannon. So how I like to play this, so I don't want to special Terror Top, because if it gets negated, then it turns off our Pile Bunker special summon. So I like to just special Pile Bunker and then just normal summon Terror Top, because it still triggers effect on normal summon. And, you don't necessarily need to special this guy. You don't have a normal summon in the deck anyway, so it's fine enough to normal summon. So we'll add Taka Tomborg from the deck here. Now, getting this Lambda Cannon out of hand is going to be a little rough, I'm not going to lie with you. So we can just link these two off into a Vulcan Booster. Vulcan Booster effect triggers here to go ahead and get sorry, we're supposed to special Taka Tomborg. I don't know why I didn't special summon it. Actually, I know why I didn't special summon it, because we were trying to play around Nibiru. So now this searches for a spell, which gets Dock, and then Dock will go ahead and search for landing. And then we'll go ahead and then do Vulcan Booster effect, because at least this can special summon from the hand as well, so we can just special this. Unfortunately, we don't have a we can add back this, which is fine, but we can't special back to the field, which is kind of unfortunate. But now that was what, our 4th summon, so it was 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we're playing around Nibiru, so that's the reason why I didn't summon out Taka Tombor, because we can now go effect destroy itself, and then look at hand and then rip their opponent's hand. Sorry, trying to like go fast, but I'm also making sure I'm not misplaying as well. So that's a fine enough. So now you know what the cards in hand are. Now we can go stage landing. In this case, I guess we just special out the Brute Blues. I guess it's fine. Oh, no. Sorry. I forgot to do field spell effect. Always do field spell effect. I keep forgetting about field spell. Field spell effect will trigger summon Lambda. Lambda just dump. What's his name? Where is it? There he is. Dump this guy to the graveyard. And then we'll go ahead and link these three off into ourselves the Brute Blues now. And then we'll go Brute Blues effect to go ahead and search for the continuous spell of Operation Test. And now we can go activate Operation Test, special out the cannon from the graveyard here. We haven't triggered cannon effect, so now we can just add back... Or no, we already did. Sorry, I guess we did. I guess we didn't have to do it. So we'll just leave Pile Bunker in the graveyard, I guess, because we didn't have to do it. We already special this guy by its effect anyway, so there was no point to do cannon effect there. So we'll do the cannon effect now to add back to make sure we get Driller back to the hand, because that is a very important thing I do want to do as well. Still a little rough here because we can special this out. I want to link into that. I really do. I think we can get there. Link, get this out, link to that. Yeah, it just sucks because the Taka Tombor is kind of just dead in hand because we want to play around Nibiru. Oh, no, it's not. We have Brute Blues. It's a wind monster. Sorry. Again, still somewhat learning the deck a little bit here. So now we can special out Taka Tombor now. Now this is cool because now we can link this off into Clockwork Knight. And then Clockwork Knight effect, sending this to the graveyard and search for, well, Clockwork Knight. It's annoying that they kind of have the same name. They're just spelled a little bit differently is all. Oh, I forgot to add, sorry, I'm forgetting a lot of things. It's because I'm thinking a lot. You're supposed to add this off to hand, off of Operation Test, and then special itself, and then gain 1,200 life points. Same difference. You still get the same thing. You just have 1,200 life points now, or you gain 1,200 life points to get back to 8k, and then you link off into Clockwork Knight, sending this to graveyard, and then searching for Clockwork Knight. Sorry, I know it's a little confusing. I'm just trying to make sure I'm playing it correctly. Now we can just go link these two off into, where is he? Barricade Board Blocker. Not there. Put it there. Barricade Board Blocker effect will trigger to go ahead and dump Clockwork Knight. And then we go Stage Landing to go ahead and special out... Oh, we can just special a name from deck. It's fine. Specialing a name from deck is probably better here. We'll just go Valken Rocket is fine. And then go link 3 into the Shepherd's Cook. And then Shepherd's Cook effect will set a trap card, which will be the next phase. If it lets me go to the deck, sorry. And then set the next phase here. And then go Clockwork Knight effect, banishing itself, sending the Ash Blossom to the graveyard to go ahead and get ourselves the Regulus from the deck, wherever Regulus is at. There he is. Get Regulus, and then we'll just special out Regulus. Regulus effect to equip Barricade is fine. And then go special Driller, sorry, didn't mean to do that. I meant to go to end phase. Again, if you can do this effect, do that effect. Again, you'll see at the... Hopefully someone will comment it, or maybe I'll figure out later and I'll comment it if you can do this effect or not. If you can, do it in the main phase and then protect it off a stage landing, which will only have one, which is kind of unfortunate, but it's still fine. And then destroy this card and then protect your Driller, so you don't have to worry about this monster. Again, I just don't know that ruling yet. End phase, you're supposed to add this back to hand. I think I forgot to do that in the last combo, but Barricade Board Blocker will add back our Operation Test to the hand, so that's kind of like your follow-up play as well. And then we'll pass on that. So pretty much the same interruptions as our last one, just a little confusing how I got there. So you still have the Regulus Negate here, sending itself to the graveyard. Here, you still have Driller effect, destroying this and this, paying 500, but then you're immediately going to gain 500 life points, right, because of the field spell. And then field spell effect triggers because RB monster was destroyed by card effect. You can special special out the spell trap negation, and then effect a spell trap negation, paying 700 life points to negate a spell trap. And then you go effect of Shepherd's Cook, shuffle back Cutter, shuffle back Cannon, and then special out Lambda. And then Lambda effect will trigger just to dump a Last Stand from the deck, so you have the target protection now. Effect paying 1,400 life points to snatch steal a monster. And then you still have next phase to gain or negate a monster effect. You gain 2,000, and then you destroy a card you control as well. And you still have Ash Blossom in hand as an interruption as well. So that was it for that 5-card sample hand. Now let's get into our final 5-card sample hand. Alrighty, now for the final 5-card sample hand here. So we're going to give the deck just a quick little shuffle and then draw our 5 cards. As you can see, the combo is kind of the same no matter what our hand is. As long as you can pretty much get to the RB Link 2, you're pretty much fine. Like, you'll pretty much be doing the same combo, right? So that's why I don't have that many combos to show you, because honestly, if you figure out like the 2 ways to combo, you're pretty much fine, because pretty much every hand will do that, right? So we'll draw 5 cards for turn. Draw 2, draw 3, draw 4, draw 5. Oh my god, what a hand. Okay. That's 3 hand craps and 2 card starters, so that's pretty good. So I guess we'll just go Funk Doc first to go ahead and search for Stage Landing here. Get Stage Landing. And then go ahead and activate the Stage Landing. Go ahead and special out. We could probably even save this if we want to be honest with you. Because we can just special Terratop, effect, search for Takatomborg. And then we'll just immediately special out the Takatomborg to the field because we control the Wind Monster. Then link both off into ourselves the Valken Booster. Valken Booster effect will trigger to go ahead and search for a spell card, which in this case we can just search for another Stage Landing, or do I want to do something else? I think we just get the Operation Test is fine. And then we can go Stage Landing. You probably should search for another Stage Landing just in case, because you can search for another continuous spell later on in this combo, and then get Cannon. And now you're playing around Nibiru this time. Cannon effect, paying 1,200. Look at hand. Special, like, rip a card out of hand is pretty nice. And then Dock effect triggers to go ahead and special out Lambda. Lambda Blade, sorry. Lambda Blade effect triggers to go ahead and dump Driller to the grave. And I actually want this in this zone. And then we can go... Sorry, I'm just thinking real quick before I continue. I can go Operation Test, special this out, and then effective Operation Test targeting Lambda Blade, gain 1,400 life points, and then just re-special back the Lambda Blade. And then we can link this off into Clockwork Knight. Clockwork Knight effect triggers, sending this to the graveyard, and then adding the other Clockwork Knight from the deck here. There he is. And then we can go link... Oh, we haven't triggered this effect. We want to trigger this effect. Effect, special itself, and then the Lambda Blade. And then Lambda Blade, add back Driller. And then we can link this and this into the Brute Blues. Brute Blues effect will trigger just to search for a Stage Landing is probably fine. And then we can link these 2 off. Yeah, we can link both of these off into Barricade Board Blocker. Barricade effect, discarding Fua. Fua is the most worthless card in our hand right now, so we'll discard Fua to add back a continue. Or, sorry, no. Discard Clockwork Knight. I was skipping a step. Discard Clockwork Knight, and then we can go Clockwork Knight effect to banish. Then we discard the Fua to add Regulus to the hand here. Where's Regulus? There he is. And then we can go Stage Landing. Go ahead and special out the... just any name is fine. Rocket's probably fine, to be honest with you. I'll then link this off into the other link 3, which is Shepherd's Cook. Shepherd's Cook effect sets a trap card from the deck here. We'll just set the next phase, which is always fine. And then Regulus effect will special itself, sending or equipping the Barricade. Special out Driller, set the Droplet, not activate, set it. And then, again, if you can do this effect, I'm going to do it just in case you can, and then banish the Stage Landing to protect the Driller. Again, I think that's how that should work, but I'm just not confident on it. That's why I'm like questioning it throughout the entire video. Again, there should be a pin, hopefully a pin comment in the comments down below to say if it does work like that or not. Hopefully I'll figure out by the time this is uploaded. And then we can go the end phase. Again, you pay 500, but Funk Doc will gain 500 since you destroyed a monster on their field, because every time your opponent monster is destroyed by battle or card effect, you just gain 500 life points. And then with that, you just pass, right? Our end phase, you add back Operation Test off of Barricade Board Blocker's effect. Right, because any field or continuous spell. Yep. And then draw standby main. This is the same interruptions you've had with the other combos. You have a monster pop by paying 5, but then you'll gain 5 off of Funk Dock, and then Funk Dock effect will special a guy too. Special out the Cutter from the deck, which is a spell trap negation by paying 700 life points here. And that negates a spell trap. Then you have this guy's effect. We'll shuffle back Rocket, Cannon, and then special out Blade. Blade effect will go ahead and dump an RB card, which will be Last Stand. So that now have targeted protection. Pay 1400 effect to snatch steal opponent's monster. And then you have Regulus effect to Omni negate. You still have this monster negate, destroying the monster you snatch steal. Gain 2,000 life points off of this effect as well. You still have Droplet Nib, and you still have Operation Test, which is technically like a follow-up play. If you didn't, maybe you shouldn't shuffle back Cannon if you have Operation Test, because Operation Test can special Cannon, add back like a special summon dude, and then you can combo from there, right? So that was it for the 5-card sample hands there. I hope you guys enjoyed that. So now let's get into the next deck list, shall we? Alrighty, the next deck list I'll be showing off in today's video is going to be RB Machina or Machina or however the hell you want to pronounce this archetype. So to be honest with you, I think this is probably the best version of RB, I'm not going to lie with you, just because of how it can play. It can get to Citadel plus Regulus, depending on what the combo is. Like, it's actually a really, really good engine for the archetype, especially since they are Earth machines. It kind of fits well with the kind of archetype as well. So the engine for RB is cut down just a little bit more just because there's a lot more Machinas you could be playing in the deck. Like, I'm not even playing like Ruin Force in the deck right now. Like, I've seen some people still play Ruin Force and stuff, but I'm currently not playing it because I honestly don't think it is as necessary as people think it is. But, you know, something you can still put in the deck. But I cut down to, like, still 2/2. I cut this guy down to 1, and I cut the trap down to 1. But, like, again, this is still perfectly fine. As long as you kind of have, like, 2 of each extender. Like, this is fine at 1 because its effect doesn't really come up as much as kind of these guys as interruptions. So it really just depends on what you want to do. You can still play this at 2 and still be fine because it's still an extender at the end of the day. You still want to only play 1 Lambda Blade, 1 Cannon because you're still bricks. Then 3 of the good spells of 3 Stage Lightning, 3 Funk Dock, 1 Operation Test, and then 1 of each trap card as well. You could get away with 2 Last Stand, but 1 is perfectly fine as well. So that's a little bit of a smaller, like, it's like, I just cut 1 Pile Punker, 1 Last Stand, just so I can fit a little bit more Machinas in this. So I'm playing 3 Gear Frame, 1 Unclasped Bar, 1 Fortress, 1 Citadel, 3 Redeployment as well, and we're still playing the Clockwork Knight plus Regulus package as well, because this also still very much comes up in this deck as well. So pretty much what this is trying to do is Gear Frame is a 1-card combo. Redeployment is a 1.5 card combo because it still gets you there. You just need to discard a card for it, but it's still a combo by itself. And then Citadel is just a nice end piece as well. So if you don't know what this card does, if its effect is you cannot be normal summoned or set, it must be special summoned by the card effect, which is fine because the bottom effect here is if a face-up Earth machine monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card, which happens all the time because Driller and Cutter are both Earth machine monsters that destroy themselves for their effects. So that does happen. So Citadel is not that hard to summon, and then while it's on the field, you can quick effect target a machine monster you control, destroy that machine monster and all monsters your opponent controls with attack less than or equal to it. So basically, it's a board wipe, which is insane to think about as well. So the thing is you're playing unclass bar. So the kind of thing is you go Gear Frame, search class bar. Class bar effect, when it's added, is a poplar, so it just specials itself to the field, and then it locks you into machine monsters, which isn't a problem because this is all machines anyways. And then when it's normal or special, it gets to dump a Machina monster from deck to graveyard, which in that case, you'll just dump Citadel. That's how you get to Citadel to the graveyard, and then that's 2 machine monsters just to go into Velkin Booster as well. Now I'm playing Fortress as well. The reason why I'm playing Fortress is just in case you draw Citadel, and you still have like the Gear Frame package, you can then send Fortress, and then Fortress sending the Citadel from hand, special Fortress, which gets you another machine body as well. So it's just another way, just in case you draw Citadel, to get it to graveyard for Fortress as well. So that's just like another way, just in case you brick on this in hand, you can send Fortress from the graveyard or from deck to graveyard instead with Unclasped Bar and still get Citadel to the graveyard and technically gets you another body with Fortress on the field as well. And then redeployment, if you don't know what this card does, it discards a card, add 2 Machina monsters from with different names from each other from deck to hand, or it can discard a Machina monster to add 2 different Machina cards from deck to hand. Now, we're never using that second effect because I honestly wouldn't discard a Machina card. You're usually just using the first effect where you discard a card to add 2 Machina monsters from your deck to your hand, which in that case you'll search Gear Frame and Unclasped Bar. Class Bar effect specials itself. It's kind of insane to think about that this card is also just an insane extender, or insane extender from the deck. And then Clockwork Knight and Regulus still comes up all the time, so you still want to play this. Actually, Clockwork Knight does double duty because not only can it search Regulus or any of the RB cards, but it can also search for Gear Frame as well. So like it makes it where if you don't draw Machina, you can still get to Machina that way by being able to search for either Machina, Gear Frame, Fortress, or Citadel, because they're all Earth machines. And then I'm playing 13 non-engine in a 42 card deck. It's still pretty good, to be honest with you. Again, doesn't need to be this non-engine. You can switch it up if you really want to, but this is the non-engine that I'm going with, just 2 of each kind of things to kind of show off. And then other cards you could be playing as well is like Urgent Schedule. Going second is kind of insane because if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can special summon a level 4 Earth or lower, a level 4 or lower, and a level 5 or higher Earth machine monster from your deck in the face positions, but their effects are negated, which is perfectly fine with you because you can search special out like Gear Frame plus like Citadel, and then that's 2 machine monsters just to get into your Valken booster. Put Citadel into the graveyard, so if an Earth machine is ever destroyed, you can just special itself to the field and stuff like that. So that's like really good. So, but this is only really like a going second option. You can't declare an attack the turn you activate this card, except for with machine monsters, which doesn't matter because they're all machines anyways. And if this set card is sent from the field to graveyard, add a level 10 machine monster from your deck to your hand, which again, Citadel actually isn't, if I'm not mistaken. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, it is. It is a 10. So the bottom effect can search it as well. But again, this is more of just a going second option for the deck. Scrap Recycler is also a thing. Now, you can do this in like a peer version if you want to as well, because this technically is a 1-card combo. But it's nice in this because it's searchable off of Clockwork Knight. And if you don't want to play like Gear Frame or anything, you can play like Scrap Recycler and still dump Citadel off of it. I think the Gear Frame is still pretty much worth it. Ruin First, I was just talking about this. I've seen some people still play this in the deck, but I don't really think it's as necessary as people think it is. So it's still something you could do as well. And then Gear Gigant X is something you could do in the extra deck if you want to, but again, it didn't really come up for me. So I didn't really need it, but it could be played in this deck if you want to as well. Extra deck wise, you're just kind of same extra deck. You're playing 3 Valken Booster. I put 2 Shepherd Cook with 2 Brute Blues. Doesn't necessarily really matter just because you have more extra deck stuff you want to. You have 2 Clockwork Knight, which is, again, you can get away with 2, but 3 is probably ideal. 1 Barricade Board Blocker for the Clockwork Knight kind of shenanigans. 1 SP is just a generic thing. But again, you gotta have to be careful with stage landing. Merrymaker is actually really good with like Gear Frame stuff. Once we get into combos, you can use Gear Frame and Unclasped Bar to go into Merrymaker, which can then go for Sargas, which can get a Regulus if you want to, and also can force like a Zeus line if you want to as well. So this does come up in the deck. You do have to be careful though, because if you summon Sargas, it does turn off stage landing for the entire turn. So like no matter what, because this does, it locks you for the turn it's activated. So if you summon this before you activate stage landing, then stage landing you just cannot activate. If you activate stage landing before summoning this, then obviously you just can't summon Sargas that way. So you gotta have to be careful on what your hand is that way. Zeus is just for the Sargas kind of play, because you could make it like a Zeus line if you want to. And then Typhon is just a generic guy in the extra deck as well. So that is it for the deck list for Machina. Now let's get into the combo, shall we? Alrighty, now on to the combo portion of the video here. So I have one card combo to show you off with Machinas, and then I have 2 1.5 card combos to show you with Machina as well. Machina, however you want to pronounce it. But yeah, so this is going to be the 1 card combo I'll be showing off, and that is going to be with Machina Gear Frame. So all you need for this combo is Machina Gear Frame, because this is a 1 card combo for the deck. And let me show you why it is. So going to the standby main phase, you can normal summon Gear Frame effect to go ahead and search for Unclasped Bar. Unclasped Bar is just a Poplar, so you can go special itself to the field since it was added to your hand, and then go effect on the field to go ahead and dump. Now this does lock you into machine monsters, but that does not matter because everything's in the deck is machine monsters. So in this case, so you send a Machina monster from your deck to the graveyard, which is going to be Citadel in this scenario. So now that's 2 machine monsters on the field now. Now you can just link off into Valken Booster. Valken Booster effect to go ahead and search for a spell. We'll search for Funk Dock. Since you don't have Funk Dock, you always search for Funk Dock. Funk Dock effect to go ahead and search for Stage Landing. Then activate stage landing, go ahead and special out the Lambda Cannon to kind of play around Nibiru. Lambda Cannon to go look your opponent's hand and then kind of rip a card as well, specialing something to their field. Then Dock effect will trigger since a RB was destroyed, to special another RB. Lambda Blade effect will trigger here to dump out the Driller from the deck. Now we can go Valken Booster effect to special back Cannon, and then Cannon effect to add back Driller to the hand here. And then we can just link off Cannon and the Valken Booster to go into Brute Blues. Brute Blues effect to go ahead and get ourselves the stage landing here. Then activate stage landing to go ahead and special out the Shepherd's Cook. Shepherd's Cook effect to set a trap card. We'll set the next phase here. And then we'll just go ahead and special out the Driller from the hand here. Go into the end phase. Now, again, depending on what the ruling is, if you can go Driller, pop this, and then protect off a stage landing and still this gets popped, then do that in the main phase just so you have that. Again, the more and more I'm going through this combo, the more and more I'm feeling like it should be able to pop this, because why? It feels like I should be able to do it. But again, I'll make sure by asking like judges once I go to locals later on this week, make sure that ruling is correct, and then I'll post it in the comments down below to make sure. So if you can, do it right now. Protect off the stage line so you keep this as an interruption for next turn, so you don't have to worry about this monster. But in the end phase, you still have a lot of interruptions off this one combo, so you still have the Driller to pop a monster on the field, paying 500 and then popping a monster. And then you gain another 500 off of Dock because a monster was destroyed by card effect. Our opponent's monster was destroyed by card effect, so it gains 500. Now you go Dock effect to go ahead and special out Cutter, but you can also do Citadel effect. So we go Chain Link 1 Dock, Chain Link 2 Citadel. Citadel will special itself to the field, and then Dock will special Cutter to the field. And now you have a board wipe on the field, which is very good with Citadel. Now you have Cutter effect, paying 700 and get a spell trap. You have Lambda Blade to go ahead and snatch steal a monster as well. You still have the Shepherd's Cook effect, shuffling back a Blade and Driller to go ahead and special out Cannon, and then Cannon effect will just add back Cutter just for like follow-up plays is fine. And then you can go next phase effect to go ahead and negate a monster, counter trap at spell speed 3, which is really good, and then you destroy a monster, you destroy the monster that you snatch steal, and you still have Citadel, which pops itself and then destroys everything with 3,000 or less attack, which again, pretty much in today's metagame equals a board wipe, which is very, very insane. So just off of one card, you still got pretty much all the RB stuff plus Citadel as a board wipe, which is very, very insane, and why I think Machina is probably the best way to play this, because Citadel as a board wipe is very, very, very fucking insane. So yeah, that was the 1-card combo using Machina Gear Frame. Now let's get into the 1.5 card combos. Alrighty, now on to the 1.5 card combos for the deck. So the first one I'm going to be showing off here is using Machina Redeployment plus Fuwalo. So basically, you just need a discard for redeployment to do this combo. So Fua is your one discard. So you'll activate Redeployment, discarding Fuwalos to add Gear Frame and add Unclasp Bar. Now, Unclasp Bar effect will trigger to go ahead and special itself to the field since it was added to the hand, except by drawing it. And then Unclasp Bar effect will go ahead and send Fortress here. And the reason why we're sending Fortress is because we can go and normal summon Gear Frame effect to go ahead and search for Citadel. And now the Fortress can special itself by discarding Citadel if it wants to. Now we can overlay both Gear Frame and Clasp Bar to go ahead and make ourselves Spray Guns Merrymaker, and then put Spring Gun or Gigantic Champion Sargass on top of it and use the effect to go ahead and get Therion King Regulus. And now we can go Fortress effect, or it's not an activated effect, it just happens, but now we can just effect to go ahead and special Fortress by discarding the Citadel, and then link both off into a Valken Booster, because they're both machine monsters, to go ahead and do Valken Booster effect to search for Funk Dock. Now we can go Regulus effect to go ahead and equip a machine monster from our graveyard here, which is insane, and then go Funk Dock effect. Now we can't search stage landing because we did summon out the champion Sargass here. So since we special champion Sargass, it turns off our stage landing. So we can't search for stage landing, which is fine. We can go ahead and just search for Lambda Cannon here and then do effective Valken Booster, because Valken Booster can actually special from hand as well to summon out Cannon, and then do Cannon effect, paying 1,200 to destroy itself to hand rip a card out of our opponent's hand, which is kind of insane, and then do Dock effect to go ahead and special out the Lambda Blade effect to go ahead and dump the Driller to the hand. And now we can just link off into ourselves this Shepherd's Crook, because again, stage landing is turned off, so there's really no point to go for Brute Blues. And then do Shepherd's Crook effect to go ahead and set for RB Last Stand, just because we do need it for interruption plays here. So not the counter trap this time, just the Last Stand will be perfectly fine with us. But that's all you have right now, so that's it for that. Now with this combo, you have both Regulus as an Omni Negate plus Citadel as a board wipe as well. Because in the main phase, you can go last stand to go ahead and special out a Cutter from the deck, which is a spell trap negation. You also have Crook's effect to go ahead and shuffle back Cannon, Lambda Blade, and then special out the Driller here. And now you can go Driller effect, paying 500 to pop a monster in your opponent's field. Then you gain 500 because of Doc's effect. And then Doc effect will also special out Lambda Blade as well. And then you go Lambda Blade to dump RB Stage Landing, so you can get the protection effect off of that. And then now you can go Cutter effect to negate a spell trap, and then Citadel effect since an Earth was destroyed to special itself to the field here. Then Lambda Blade will go ahead and snatch steal a guy. And then you still have an Omni Negate on the field, which is sending Regulus to the graveyard. And then you still have a board wipe off of Citadel. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this should work the same way. It's the same ruling question. Like, you can go Shepherd's Cook, like Citadel, target Shepherd Cook to just do Citadel's effect, and then just go Stage Landing to protect the Shepherd's Cook and still nuke their field. That should still be correct. It's kind of the same ruling. I'll try to get that ruling as well. Because this doesn't say destroy both, it just says destroy that machine monster and all monster your opponent controls with attack less than or equal to it. So like it still should destroy, if I'm not mistaken. But I'll also make sure that ruling is correct as well. If it doesn't, you can just destroy Citadel instead and still be fine as well. Really just dependent on what you want to do. I'll again put everything as a pinned comment to make sure that the rulings are correct. I'll put a pinned comment down below if you still want to know those rulings. So, but that's all you really have. So off of this, you got an Omni Negate, you got a board wipe, you still had a spell trap, a monster pop, and a snatch steal. You just lost out on the counter trap, was pretty much all you lost out on. But you still pretty much got to everything with this combo. So that was it for this 1.5 card combo. Now let's get into our other 1.5 card combo. Alrighty, now for our final 1.5 card combo here. So this is pretty much going to show off that you can still get to the Machina portion of the deck even if you don't end up drawing it. So this is how you're going to do it, is by doing the Clockwork Knight kind of shenanigans. So in this case, I'm using Funk Dock in any discard. Again, it doesn't have to be Funk Dock. It can also be Stage Landing as well if you want it to be. But just anyway, Stage Landing plus Fua, or plus a discard will get you there. So, again, so you just do this, search out Stage Landing, go Stage Landing effect to go ahead and special out the Brute Blues. Brute Blues effect will go ahead and trigger to go ahead and just search another Stage Landing. Stage Landing will trigger again because it's not a once per turn to go ahead and search for Cannon. And then the Cannon effect will go ahead and pay 1,200, destroy itself, and then hand rip a card to play around like Nibiru and stuff like that. And then effective Funk Dock to go ahead and special out the Lambda Blade. Lambda effect will dump out Driller, and then we'll go ahead and link off Lambda Blade and the Brute Blues to go ahead and make ourselves a Vulcan Booster. Vulcan Booster effect will go in and get Operation Test from the deck here, and then we'll go ahead and activate Operation Test, special out the Driller from the deck or graveyard here, and then go Operation Test, bounce back Driller, gain 500 life points, and then just respecial itself to the field here. And then link off the Driller, go ahead and make ourselves Clockwork Knight. Clockwork Knight, sending the continuous spell to go ahead and search for Clockwork Knight. And then we'll go ahead and do Vulcan Booster effect, special out Cannon. Cannon effect, first effect we have in triggers, we'll add back Driller to the hand. And then we'll link off the Clockwork Knight and Cannon to go ahead and make ourselves Barricade Board Blocker. Barricade, discard the Clockwork Knight, and then Clockwork Knight banishing itself, discarding Fua to go ahead and search for Gear Frame. Not Regulus, but Gear Frame. We have not normal summoned yet, so we'll go ahead and normal summon Gear Frame. Gear Frame effect will go for Unclasp Bar. Unclasp Bar effect triggers, since it was added to the hand, to special itself, and then Clasp Bar effect to go ahead and dump Citadel from the deck to the graveyard. And now we can just go ahead and link off Barricade Board Blocker and Booster to go ahead and make ourselves Shepherd's Cook. Shepherd's Crook effect will go ahead and set the counter trap here, and then go ahead and just overlay both Unclasp Bar and Gear Frame to go ahead and get Merry Maker, because it's still a monster with 15 or machine monster with 1,500 or less attack, which is really, really good that you can still do this. Now we can't make what's his name, Sargas on top, because the Stage Landings are preventing that. But this is still fine. You're just going to save this for follow-up plays is all you're really doing. And then just special out Driller here. And then Driller effect, if you could do this, pop it, do it now. Again, I'll get that ruling down in the comments down below. Then draw a standby main phase. Now you still have a lot of interruptions off of this. So you have Driller effect, paying 500 to pop a card your opponent controls, and then you gain 500 off of Funk Dock, and then Funk Dock effect will trigger Chainlink 1, Citadel Chainlink 2 to special itself to the field since the Earth Machine was destroyed by card effect, and then special out Cutter from the deck here. And then we'll go Crook effect, shuffle, or putting Driller and Cannon to the bottom, and then special out Blade. Blade effect will go ahead and dump out Last Stand just for the protection. And then we have a Spell Trap Negate off of a Cutter. We're paying 700 life points. And then you have Lambda Blade, which is a Snatch Steal as well. And then you just take the monster there. That's what the token is going to be. And then you still have the next phase, which is a Monster Negate, and then destroy a monster you control, which will just destroy the monster we Snatch Steal. And you still have Citadel to blow up anything with 3,000 or less attack, so a board wipe as well. And you still have plenty of follow-up here, because now you can go, if they ever threaten Merrymaker effect banishing itself, and that will return during the end phase. End phase, it will return to the end phase, or it'll return to the field, sorry. And then I forgot to resolve Barricade Board Blocker's effect, so this operation test should have been in hand the entire time. I just forgot to add it to hand during the end phase. So this is your follow-up play for the RB stuff as well. So your follow-up play here is basically you'll overlay this into a into a Spring Guns, not Merrymaker, fucking Sargass. Sargass search for Regulus. You can force a Zeus line off of that, because that's 2 materials for Zeus to like board wipe if you want to. Regulus is an Omni Negate for follow-up, and you still have Operation Test, which can summon out, I shuffled back Cannon, which is probably incorrect. I maybe shouldn't have shuffled back Cannon. I should have shuffled back something else instead. But if you have Cannon, you can special Cannon. But in this case, we can go like special blue, which is fine, and then blue effect, dump out like a guy if you want to. But like this is still like pretty good follow-up for you as well. So that is it for the 1.5 card combos. Now let's get into the 5 card sample hand, shall we? Alrighty, now for the 5 card sample hand here. So I'm going to do 3 5-card sample hands like I did with the pure deck list. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get into it. So we're going to shuffle up here a couple times and we'll draw 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, okay. Man, this redeployment is kind of fucking worthless, I'm not going to lie with you. I guess we'll just normal summon Gear Frame effect to go ahead and search for Class Bar effect. Yeah, that's fine, because if this gets negated, we still have redeployment. Okay, that was still fine. Class Bar effect to go ahead and dump Citadel to the graveyard. Fortress is kind of worthless right now, I'm not going to lie with you, but this redeployment is also very fucking worthless right now. Yeah, we'll just link these off into the Valken Booster. Valken Booster effect will trigger to go ahead and get for Doc. Doc get Stage Landing. Activate Stage Landing, summoning out Cannon there. And then go, sorry, this is the main phase. Cannon effect, paying 1,200. Destroy this, and then rip a card out of our opponent's hand. Put this in there, and then Effective Funk Doc to go ahead and special out Lambda Blade. Where the fuck Lambda Blade's at? Lambda Blade effect triggers, dumping Driller to the graveyard. Then we can go Effective Valken Booster, special out Cannon, add back Driller, and then go link 3. Yeah, we'll link these off into the Brute Blues. Brute Blues effect, go ahead and search for the continuous spell in Operation Test. And we'll go ahead and activate actually, we can just special this first, and then activate Operation Test. Special out the Lambda Blade. Link the Valken Booster. Go into a Clockwork Knight. Clockwork Knight effects and the Operation Test. To go ahead and search for where is he? Clockwork Knight. And then link these 2 off and make ourselves the Barricade Board Blocker. Barricade effect, discarding Clockwork Knight, and then we can go Clockwork Knight, banishing itself, discarding Redeployment to go ahead and search for Regulus. And then we can go Regulus effect, special itself, putting... I also forgot to gain life points off the continuous spell, which kind of sucks. Yeah, it's fine. We can work with it. We'll just equip Gear Frame, I guess is fine. And then we can go link these off into Shepherd's Crook. Shepherd's Crook effect, set the counter trap from the deck here. And then Special Driller, because we haven't Special Driller by its own effect yet. Set Imperm. Yep. If you can pop this, but in this scenario, I'm not going to do it. End phase, you just go... There he is. Add the operation test to hand here, and we'll pass on that. Draw, standby main. We have a lot of shit, ladies and gentlemen, that we can do with this hand. So we have this effect here, paying 500 life points. We'll gain back off of Funk Dock, so I won't even bother the time. Pop, pop. Funk Dock, Chain Link 1, Citadel, Chain Link 2. Well, special Citadel there, and then special Cutter there, which still works because this still points to Cutter, so it's still linked. And then we can go effect of Shepherd's Crook, Shuffle Back Rocket, and Driller, and then special out Lambda. Lambda effect triggers to dump the trap, so we get the targeted protection as well. We have a spell trap negation off of Cutter, paying 700. We have a Regulus negate, Omni negate, and then we have a Snatch Steal, paying 14 off of Lambda Blade. We still have, so we still the monster, and then next phase gains 2,000, negates a monster effect, and we destroy a card monster, which will be the Snatch Stealed monster. And then we have a Citadel to go ahead and board wipe as well. And we still have Imperm, and we have Operation Test for follow-up as well. And we still have protection like this Last Stand and the Stage Landing to protect our Link monsters as well. So a lot of interruptions off that first one. Now let's get into our second 5-card sample hand. Alrighty, now on to the next 5-card sample hand here. So again, I'll just give this deck a little bit of a shuffle, and then we'll just draw 5 cards here. Draw 1, draw 2, draw 3, draw 4. Oh my god, draw 5. Okay, I mean, that's fucking insane. I'm not going to lie with you. So we'll go... Sorry, I'm just thinking on how to do this. We can go Stage Landing first. Go ahead and get Brute Blues. Brute Blues effect will trigger to go ahead and search. We'll get ourselves the Funk Dock. Funk Dock effect. We'll go ahead and get another Stage Landing. And then activate Stage Landing to go ahead and special out the cannon here. Then we'll go Cannon effect, paying 1,200 life points to go ahead and try to snatch or look at our opponent's hand. And then we take a monster out of their hand. Effect of Funk Dock will trigger to go ahead and dump ourselves a... I think this is going to pretty much be the first combo we did in the first 5-card sample hand, if I'm not mistaken. Special Lambda Blade. Lambda Blade effect, dumping out the Driller. And then normal summon Gear Frame. Gear Frame effect, go ahead and special... or add Class Bar, and the Class Bar effect will special itself. Class Bar effect, dumping Citadel to the graveyard here. Link off Brute Blues and Class Bar to go... Or actually, we don't even have to do that. Do we? We might. Let me see. Link these off into Valken Booster. Valken Booster effect triggers to go ahead and search for a spell, which in this case will probably search the continuous spell. And if I don't lag, which is annoying as fuck, can I not lag, please? Is it going to let me search? The fuck? Oh, thank you, DB. There we go, finally. Search for Operation Test here. There we go, finally. Fucking took itself long enough. Activate Operation Test, special out the Driller. And then we'll just gain 500 life points off the field, the continuous spell, by adding Driller back and then just respecialing itself. Link off into Clockwork Knight. Clockwork Knight, send this to the graveyard. Go ahead and search ourselves Clockwork Knight. And then we'll go effect to reborn the cannon here. Cannon effect, add back Driller. And then we'll go ahead and make this and this into Barricade. Barricade effect, discarding Clockwork Knight. And then Clockwork Knight effect, banish itself, discarding Fua to add Regulus to our hand here. Where the fuck Regulus is at. There he is. Then we can go Regulus effects special. We'll just equip... Yeah, Clockwork Knight is fine. And then we can go link these off into the Shepherd's Crook. And then Shepherd's Crook effect to set a trap card. We'll set the fucking dumbass counter trap. And then go ahead and overlay these two into the Merry Maker. Now, it might seem a little bit worthless, but it does threaten like a Zeus line later on. So I'm perfectly fine with doing this. And then we'll just special out Driller here in defense position. Again, if you can do the pop and protect, do it right now. It's very much your advantageous to do that. Again, there should be a comment down below to say if you can do that or not. End phase here, though. We'll go to end phase. We'll add back the Operation Test off of Barricade Board Blockers effect. And we pretty much still have everything like we did last time. So you have a Regulus negate here. You have a monster pop, which again, you'll gain 500 off of Funk Dock anyways because of a monster being destroyed by card effect. And then Funk Dock, Chainlink 1 will trigger Chainlink 2 Citadel to special itself. That's probably the incorrect way. You probably want to do it the opposite way. Special itself, and then we'll special out the Spell Trap negating Cutter. Then we'll go Effect of Shepherd's Crook, shuffling back Cannon and Driller, and special out Lambda Blade. Lambda Blade effect will trigger to go ahead and dump ourselves. Last Stand is probably fine. And then we can go Spell Trap Negate off of Cutter's effect. And then destroying itself. We have a Snatch Steal off of Lambda Blade's effect, paying 1400. Destroy itself. Snatch Steal a monster. And then you have the Counter Trap, which going to negate a monster effect. Destroy a card you control, which is going to be the monster you take. And then gain 2000 attack. And then you have Citadel still to board wipe. You still have Called By. And you still have Ghost Bell. And then you have Ever Threatened Merrymaker. You just banish the Merrymaker there. And then if they pass to you, you still have Merrymaker as follow-up plus the operation test. So if you go draw, it doesn't really matter what you draw. That's a solid draw still. You can go make ourselves a Champion Sargas. Can this add from graveyard? No, it's only from deck. I guess that's fine. That doesn't really matter. Oh, no, it's this. Add a... Yeah, from deck to hand. So this like threatens a Zeus line right now. So I can go like battle, clear, make a Zeus if they like set up on a field, right? Which is still really good. Then you still have Operation Test plus Pile Bunker, which gets you into a second Falcon Booster, which can go, again, just more full combo for RB stuff. Citadel, if Earth is ever destroyed, can just respecial itself to the field, which is kind of nice. Like this is kind of the nice thing about Citadel, since it doesn't banish itself. Is really good, so it's this guy kind of just keeps coming back, which is kind of insane as well. So that was the second 5-card sample hand. Now let's get into the third 5-card sample hand. Alrighty, now on to the third 5-card sample hand here. So as you can kind of see with all these RB kind of stuff that we're going through, a lot of it is pretty much the same combo because there's so many 1-card combos in this deck that like if you could draw at least one of them, you're going to get to the full combo anyways. And like if you draw multiple extenders, if you get hand trap, at least you can play through those hand traps, right? So that's kind of like the idea with the deck. So we'll just shuffle up here and then we'll draw our last 5 cards for our sample hand here. Draw 1, draw 2, draw 3, draw 4, draw 5. Okay, so Funk Dock is the only way we can play. So activate Funk Dock effect to go ahead and get ourselves Stage Landing. Stage Landing effect to go ahead and special itself to the field here. Now the cool thing is, since we did draw Clockwork Knight, we can just not make, we don't have to make the Clockwork Knight stuff. We just have to get to a Barricade board blocker, which is kind of nice. So we go Brute Blues effect to go just search another Stage Landing here. Activate the Stage Landing once again to go ahead and special Cannon. Cannon effect will now play around the Nibiru or something like that. Paying 1200 by looking at your opponent's hand, destroying itself. And then putting a monster to their field. Funk Dock effect will trigger to go ahead and special out Lambda Blade, where Lambda Blade is at. Lambda Blade, there you are. Lambda Blade, go ahead and dumping Driller to the graveyard here, and then we'll link off into a Falcon Booster. Falcon Booster effect will trigger. We'll just go ahead and search for the continuous spell, which is going to be... Where the fuck is it? Am I an idiot? Did I draw? No, I didn't draw it. There it is. Search out that, then go effect to special out the Cannon. Cannon effect, add back Driller to the hand here. And then activate Operation Test to go ahead and special back Lambda Blade. We'll gain 1400 life points by adding this guy back to hand off the continuous spell effect, and then just respecial itself to the field here. Link these off into Barricade board blocker effect, discarding Clockwork Knight. And then we can go Clockwork Knight effect, banish itself, discarding Fortress. In this case, we don't search Regulus, we'll actually search for Gear Frame instead. And then we'll go ahead and normal summon Gear Frame effect, go ahead and special out Class Bar. Or we can actually just search Citadel. That's actually not bad. I like the Citadel play a lot, actually, because we have Fortress anyway, so we can keep Class Bar for like other stuff if we really want to. Discard this. And then we can go link this. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that. I'll link these 3 off is fine. Go ahead and actually we could keep the Fortress on field. If we put it in defense, we can actually keep the Fortress on field. Because if they ever destroy it by battle, it can pop a card, right? Yeah, you can pop a card, and if this card is targeted, it can also discard a card from your hand as well. So this is kind of just like an asshole on field, which is kind of nice. So we can link these guys. I'll actually link the barricade too, because I kind of don't want it on field, to go into Shepherd's Crook. Shepherd Crook effect to set a trap card from the deck here, which is going to be the next phase here. And then we'll just special out the Driller there, and then we'll set one. And this is kind of an annoying thing. Again, if you can do this, pop thing during your turn, and then protect it off of stage landing, do it. But end phase, I don't think we have a guy to add back anyways. Yeah, we don't. Okay, so draw, standby main. Pretty much same thing. So Fortress is just an asshole. If they destroy it by battle, it pops a card your opponent controls. And then if a card targets this, let me see. Before resolving an opponent's monster effect that targets this face-up card, look at your opponent's hand and discard one random card from it. So it's just a like annoying asshole. They have to like, it's kind of just annoying to out. But it's not that much of a problem, but it's still like annoying, right? But now you can do this effect, which pays 500, which you're going to gain back off of Funk Dock anyways. But destroy a monster. And then Citadel, Chainlink 1, Funk Dock, Chainlink 2 to special out the Spell Trap Negate, wherever the Spell Trap Negate is at. Spell Trap Negate, where are you at? There he is, Cutter. Special out Cutter here. And then you have a Spell Trap Negate off of Cutter, paying 700 life points here to destroy itself. And you got effect of this to go and shuffle this, and special back the Lambda Blade. Lambda Blade effect will trigger to dump the trap to make sure you got the protection now. And then Lambda Blade effect, popping itself, paying 1400 life points to snatch steal opponent's monster. Then you have the counter trap, which is going to pop this and negate a monster effect, and then paying 2,000 or gain 2,000 life points. And then you have Imperm, which is very insane as well. You still have a Ghost Bell, which is interruption. You still have a Citadel, which can you pop Fortress off of this? Oh, opponent's monster effect that targets his face-up card. Okay, that'd be cool, but yeah, you can't do that. Citadel board wipes as well. So again, pretty much the same combo. Pretty much every hand, as long as you get to the one-card combo, does the combo by itself. Again, I do think this is the best version of Mechanus, or a best version of RB is the Mechanus, so do keep that in mind. But yeah, that is it for the 5-card sample hands now. Now let's get into our last deck list I want to talk about today. Alrighty, now on to the final deck list for today's video, and that is going to be Sky Striker RB. So this is another thing you could be doing with the deck as well. Now I will say there's not that much difference between this deck while playing Sky Striker and maybe like a peer version of the deck, because the Sky Striker cards pretty much act as just like one-card combos for the deck. So this is pretty much like Terror Top. This is like the Mecha Phantom Beast guys as well. But I did want to make this a little bit different because the extra deck is a little bit different. There's cool things you could do with this as well that I do want to talk about. So again, the RB monsters are pretty much the same thing as the Mechana deck, where you're on 2 of each extender except for Pile Bunker, which is at 1, and then 1 of each trap. But you're maxing out on the good spells of 3 Stage Landing, 3 Funk Dock, and then 1 Operation Test. This pretty much still gets there. You're still playing Regulus and Clockwork Knight because this is still very much accessible in the deck, so that's really good for you as well. So there's really no difference here when it comes to the engine portion of the RB stuff, so nothing really new to talk about with that one. But the Sky Striker stuff is a little interesting. So we're playing 3 Pillar of the Future Sinus and then 1 Rose. So pretty much this, if you don't know what this card does, it's one of the newer Sky Striker support cards. This card is always treated as a Sky Striker card, so it's searchable off of Engage if you want to as well. So what it does is you can discard 1 spell card, special summon this card from your hand, and then if this card is no longer special summon, you can special summon 1 Sky Striker Ace Rose from your deck or graveyard. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn, except for machine monsters, which again isn't that much of a problem because the rest of the deck is machines anyways. And then you can banish this card from your graveyard, take one of your Sky Striker Ace Rose that is banished or in your graveyard, either add it to your hand or special summon it, which is also insane because it gives you more extenders later on for the combo as well. So an overall really good card. It also has a free special summon if you want to, but this can just be your normal summon of the deck, which is fine as well. But you can also special itself by discarding a spell card. So a really, really good card. That's why you're playing the Rose as well, just in case with this stuff. Also, Rose's graveyard effect, if I'm not mistaken. If an opponent's monster in the extra monster zone is destroyed by battle or leaves the field because of your card effect, while this card's in your graveyard, you can special this card and negate one of their effects. Could come up as well, because there's a lot of interruption pieces with this deck as well. So Rose could just be another interruption for the deck if you want to as well. You're playing 3 engage because you're on the Sky Striker stuff, because this can search for Cynos, because this can search for any Sky Striker card, and this counts as a Sky Striker card, so this can search for your 1-card combo. But you're also playing like Hornet Drones. If you still want to do this stuff, like you can play the Hornet Drones with it as well. But I prefer to go for Cynos, because Cynos is just a little bit better than Hornet Drones, because if you go the Hornet Drone lines, the Hornet Drone lines plays more into Nibiru, the Primal Being, than the Cynos does. That is just something to think about with that, but I still am playing it. I'm also playing Widowmaker just so you make your engages going second really good as well, to kind of help you board break and stuff. So that I still think that's very much worth playing with that as well. So this is kind of your just like engine you play with Sky Striker. You're still on a 13 non-engine kind of list as well. Extra deck is just kind of the same thing. You're playing 3 of all like the guys are good, so 3 Valka and 3 Kuruk. The 2 blues, 2 Clockwork Knight, 1 SP, 1 Sky Crisis, that's just generic guys, just in case you don't get locked. And then you're playing 1 Kagari, 1 Hayate, 1 Kaina, because these do come up in the extra deck. They're all 1500 monsters, machine monsters from the extra deck that you could special summon. That's why the Sky Striker stuff is good, because their extra deck are still summonable, even though if you lock yourself on the stage landing, it's still fine, because these guys can still be summoned, right? So this is still fine. So this is probably fine enough to play. Other cards you can play in here, like Thrust, is obviously good. Like if you play more of a board breaker kind of version of this deck, Thrust is like a good thing you could do with the Sky Striker stuff. So that's something to think about. Ray plus area, the new Sky Striker Ace Zero could also be really good in here. If you don't want to play like the Hornet Drones, you can play like Ray instead, and then engage can search for Ray. Ray can then trigger its effect to special out Zero. Zero can then dump like another engage into the graveyard. And then you can go effect of Zero, special out Rose, special out Ray to the field there. And then you can link off one of them into Kagari. Kagari effect, add back engage if you want. And then go link into Hayate. And then that's 2 machine monsters to go into Valken Booster. And then you get the value off of Zero, because Zero also can destroy a card. So it could be good going second as well. So just something to think about with the deck is that you can even play this in there as well if you decide to play like a bigger Sky Striker package in this deck as well. But overall, there really isn't that much of a difference. Again, these are just 1-card combos that pretty much just act like Speedroid, Terratop, and Takatomborg, or like a Mecha Phantom Beast, Tetherwolf, or even like a gear frame. Like this can technically be the gear frame of the deck as well, if you really want to consider that. Or engage can be that. Like it really doesn't really matter. They pretty much are just 1-card combos that gets to this dude, Valken Booster, which matters. Now, if you do the Hornet Drone lines, it does play harder into Nibiru, because you have to link, because if you go Hornet Drones effect go into Kagari, Kagari add back Hornet Drones, you special back the Hornet Drone token, you have to link the Kagari into a down pointing Sky Striker with his Hayate or Kaina, and then link off the token into the other one. So that's already what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 summons before you even got to the Valken Booster. So they can Nibiru you before that point, and you could just be screwed. So that's kind of like the downside of the Hornet Drones, but that's why this guy is really good. But I still have Hornet Drones in here just in case, you know. But this could be like a Ray if you want to as well. So that is it for the deck list. Now let's get into the combo, shall we? Alrighty, last second edition here. I forgot to put Barricade Board Blocker in this extra deck for some reason, so I just cut down on Shepherd Cook and put a Barricade Board Blocker in here. Because if you're going to play the Clockwork Knight, you need the Barricade Board Blocker. Sorry, just forgot about that card. I don't know why it wasn't in here. It definitely needs to be in here. So now it's in there. Now let's get into the combo, shall we? Alrighty, now on to the combo portion of the video here. Now, I'm not going to show off any like 1-card or 2-card combos with Sky Strikers or something like that, because again, they're pretty much kind of like Terratop, kind of like Gear Frame, kind of like Tetherwolf. If you draw it, it's just a 1-card combo to make the link to, which is Valken Booster. So I don't really want to show off another like 1-card combo when we already showed it off previously in the video. You just have to remember the Sky Striker stuff is pretty much just a 1-card combo to get to the link to, which gets you into full RB combo, right? So that is something to think about. So I will do just a 3 5-card sample hand with the deck list, and we'll just call it a day after that. So we're just going to shuffle up here and then draw ourselves a 5-card hand, shall we? So we'll draw 1, draw 2, draw 3, draw 4, draw 5. Oh my god, we drew Rose. Oh, that was like so nearly good, and it became god-awful. Holy shit. Man, imagine if we just did not draw Rose off of that. The reason why that sucks is because Cynos can only special Rose from the deck or graveyard, which is kind of unfortunate. How do I want to do this? This still works. We can still normal summon this. Link this off into, if it lets me link it off, into just any of the Sky Striker stuff. I guess kinda is fine. And then Rose will special itself since Ace was Sky Striker Ace monster was special to the field. To special itself, you gotta link the Rose off into Hayate. And link these two off into two machines into the Valken booster. So as you can see, there's already the one problem here is if you kind of like the Cynos doesn't make this a problem, but actually it does. I shouldn't be lying to you because it makes it where Cannon is the 5th summon if you start with Cynos. So that's kind of the one problem with Sky Strikers. They kind of play into Nib kind of hard because how many times you do have to summon, but by technicality, they can be better going second if you're on like a bigger Sky Striker package because the Sky Striker stuff naturally is just good going a second, especially if you have like Ray and stuff in the extra deck and like the bigger Sky Striker extra deck. So that is something just to think about, to be honest with you. But it is a little bit harder going first because the Sky Striker stuff kind of makes you playing the Nib a little bit harder is all. So that's the reason why you might not see this as much. This might be a little bit better going second than it is going first. But now we got to the booster. Booster effect will go ahead and trigger just to get the field spell. We already have field spell actually, so that's actually not even worth it to be honest with you. So we'll go ahead and get stage landing is fine, I guess. And then we can go ahead and get we got to get Funk Doc onto the field actually, and then just get just another stage landing, I guess. Yeah, I guess just another stage landing is fine. And then we'll go activate stage landing, go ahead and special from the deck a cannon. Now, if we end up getting nibbed, it's fine because we have a second stage landing, so we can still play, which is perfectly fine with us. So that's fine. Now we can go cannon effect, paying 1,200 life points here to rip a card out of their hand, and now it destroys itself, and then Funk Doc effect triggers. Again, this is now full RB combo for you. We have seen this so many times in this video now. Lambda cannon effect to dump out the driller, and then we can now go link 3 into the Brute Blues. Now, the thing that sucks is we drew Last Stand as well, so this Brute Blue, I guess, just gets... And we also drew Operation Test, so I guess we're just getting the third fucking dumbass RB stage landing, I guess, is fine. Oh, I forgot, did I special off a fucking Valken booster? No, I did not. Special off a Valken booster. Sorry, I'm a little tired. I'm getting there right now. So, do Valken booster effect, special out cannon, add back driller, then link into Brute Blues after that. Sorry, I kind of just skipped the steps there. And now we can go... Operation Test, special out Lambda. Blade is fine. And then go return Lambda Blade off the continual spell, gain 1,400 life points. Then re-special out Lambda Blade, which is fine. And then we can link this off into Clockwork Knight. Clockwork Knight, sending this to the graveyard to go ahead and search for Clockwork Knight, and then link these two off into the Barricade Board Blocker. Barricade, discard this. Go ahead and search ourselves nothing. I'm skipping a step. Clockwork Knight, discarding Stage Landing. I guess we don't really need that. Get ourselves Regulus, and then we go Regulus effect. Equipping, I guess Hayate, it's a machine. I guess we can do that. We'll do that. Then go link 3 into the Shepherd's Crook. Shepherd's Crook effect to set a trap. Set ourselves the next phase. And then we can go stage landing to go ahead and just special out the second driller that's in the deck, thankfully. Thank God. And then if the ruling is that you can pop off of this and still protect off a stage landing, then do that. But yeah, this is pretty much, again, this is the same combo, but the Sky Striker stuff is what got us there. We still have an extender by technicality because Krynos can special back Rose from the graveyard by banishing itself from the graveyard, which is kind of cool, or even add itself back to hand. So that's like something you could do, but that could just be like follow-up play if you really want to as well. End phase, Barricade resolves, add back the continuous spell to the hand. And like this is still the same interruption. You have the monster negate, you'll have a spell trap negate, you have a Regulus negate, the non-negate. You have this to pop, and then you'll pay 5, but then gain 5 off Funk Doc. Funk Doc effect will trigger to go ahead and special out the spell trap negate, and then spell trap negate. Pay 700 life points to negate a spell trap. And then you can go special Lambda Blade off the Link 3 by shuffling this. And I guess we can. We probably want to keep and Cutter. And then effect to dump. We drew last stand. I'm sorry. This should be set, to be honest with you. I forgot to set this. Set this. I forgot this was in hand. Set that. And then you have a Snatch Steal gaining 1,400, or paying 1,400 life points. And then you Snatch Steal a guy. And then you have a Monster Negate, destroying this. And then you gain 2,000 life points. And then you actually have, since we drew last stand, if next phase wants to go to the graveyard, we can activate last stand if they ever like threaten to go to battle phase and clear like Brute Blues. Can we stop lagging, please? Fucking, oh my god, I'm getting fucking annoyed right now. Please, please, let me fucking go in the deck. Oh my god, thank the fucking Lord. They finally let me go in the deck. Special out, Pile Bunker, and then if they ever threaten the Brute Blues, you can just wipe their field with Pile Bunker, which is kind of cool as well. And you have Operation Test for follow-up as well. So that's kind of the thing with Sky Striker. It's a one-card combo, but it plays a little bit harder into nib. With that combo, it was rough because we drew Rose as well, which was very unfortunate. But that is just something to think about with this. So that is it for this one 5-card combo. Now let's get into the next one, shall we? Alrighty, now on to the second 5-card sampling here with the Sky Striker deck. So we'll shuffle up a little bit here and then draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Alright. Okay. Oh, man, we drew Lambda Blade. That's kind of actually unfortunate that we drew Lambda Blade. It kind of sucks. When you draw Lambda Blade or Cannon, kind of fucking sucks, not going to lie with you. We'll activate Hornet Drones here. Go into this, link off into Kagari. We kind of want them to nib us here because we have the combo anyways, just in case if we do get nibbed. Kagari, add back Hornet Drones. We'll just reactivate Hornet Drone, special a token to the field. Then we have to link the Kagari into Kaina. You can even like do this by gaining 100 life points. So you can link into Kaina first, then do Hornet Drones effect. So you can gain 100 life points off this Kaina. And then link off the Kaina into Hayate. And then link 2 into ourselves a... There he is. Yeah, these are both machine monsters, so guess what? We can make ourselves the Valken Booster. Valken Booster effect will trigger to go ahead and search for its spell, which will just get stage landing here. Because we already have Funk Dock, activate Funk Dock to go ahead and get ourselves a second stage landing, which is fine. We'll just activate that stage landing to the special out cannon. If they nib us here, we're fine because we still have another stage landing in hand, plus like extenders, which is perfectly fine with us. So we would be perfectly fine if they end up nibbering it here. But if they don't, we have the effect of paying 1,200, destroy itself, and then rip a card out of their hand. And we have effect of Funk Dock. Unfortunately, we drew the fucking Lambda Blade, so we can't special Lambda Blade off of this. We'll just special out... Fuck, I guess we'll special out this dude. Why not? And then we'll go... Effect of Valken Booster. Special out Lambda Blade. Lambda Blade effect to go ahead and dump ourselves Last Stand. Then we cannot do what I'm about to do. What the fuck? Don't do what I'm about to do. Link these guys off into ourselves a Brute Blue effect to go ahead and search ourselves the continuous spell, which is going to be here. And then we can go... it's fine. We'll go Operation Test Special out... Cannon, I guess? Nah, yeah, this is fine. We'll just special this out. No point to add back, I guess. I guess we can just add this back to the extra deck. This was fine. Yeah, I guess that's whatever. And then we'll link this off into Clockwork Knight. Night effect, send this to the graveyard. Add ourselves a Clockwork Knight, if I can find Clockwork Knight. There it is. And then we can go link 2 into a Barricade Board Blocker, discarding Clockwork Knight effect, banishing itself. I'll discard Widow Anchor because it's pretty much dead right now. And then search ourselves a... There he is, Regulus. Sorry. Search Regulus. And then special Regulus effect. Just Clockwork Knight is probably fine, to be honest with you. And then we'll link... these two, we can link these two off, which is fine. Man, drawing that Lambda Blade really fucking sucked. I'm not going to lie with you. That was fucking terrible. We can keep the Brute Blues, actually. We can just special this and then link these off into the Shepherd's Crook effect to go ahead and... reset the next phase is fine. Sorry. And stage landing. Go ahead and special out the other driller. If you can do this effect, do the driller and then protect off a stage landing. I think you can. I think you can. The more and more I'm playing with this, I'm like, why wouldn't you be able to? But just in case, I'm just going to go. Again, there should be a comment down below to see if it's the correct ruling or not. So, again, just the same end field that we have gotten to like so many times. Again, the Sky Striker stuff doesn't really change how you do the combo. Like if you can get to the link tube, you're getting to this field right here no matter what. So again, you're going to have a Spell Trap negate, you're going to have a Monster negate, you're going to have a Snatch Steal, you have a Regulus negate, you also have a next phase as well, which is very nice. And you technically, we didn't have that combo, so that's fine. And yeah, so pretty much the same combo as pretty much the rest of the combos that we got into. So that's it for that combo. Now let's get into our last 5-card sample land. Alrighty, now for our last 5-card sample land here. So we'll get a little bit of a shuffle and we'll draw 5. As you can see with any of the RB lists that we have, it being pretty much if you can get to the link to, you get the full RB combo. So that's the reason why I'm you can see, if you can't tell, I'm getting a little annoyed because every time I do this combo, I'm like, this is just the same combo over and over again. Which, you know, not a bad thing. Like, it's still not bad because it still gets to the same end field every time, which is pretty good. But, you know, I like to have some diversity, which you can have in, like, the Machina deck, which is kind of cool. But with the Sky Striker stuff is pretty much like the same thing as Pure. So we'll draw 5, and I mean that does combo, that does everything for us. We don't even need this engage. I'm not gonna lie with you. Yeah, we don't even need engage. So we can activate engage here and go ahead and search for my guy Cynos. I guess we should probably show off what Cynos does because I didn't draw Rose with him this time. Effective Cynos to go ahead and get ourselves Rose from the deck. If it lets me get to Rose, sorry. There we go. Special out Rose here. Now we can link off Rose to go ahead and make ourselves a Kagari. Kagari effect can add back engage from the hand here. Now we have 2 machine monsters. Guess what? That's a link to go into ourselves a Falcon Booster. Falcon Booster effect to go ahead and get ourselves Field Spell. And then Field Spell to add Last Stand, I guess is fine. Actually, don't add Last Stand. Just add the Monster Reborn. There he goes. Now we can go Stage Landing. Stage Landing effect to go ahead and special out Cannon. Cannon effect to go ahead and rip the card out of hand here, paying 1,200 life points. Destroy itself, and then special a monster. And then Funk Dock effect triggers to go summon out Lambda here. Lambda, if I can find Lambda, there's Lambda. Lambda effect to go ahead and dump Driller to the graveyard here. And then effective Falcon Booster, special out the Cannon here. And then, yeah, we'll just add back Driller. It doesn't really matter. Add Driller back to hand off of Cannon's effect there. And then we'll just link these off into the Brute Blues. Brute Blues effect to go ahead and search. We'll search for Last Stand is fine. And then we'll go, yeah, Operation Test, special out Cannon. And then we'll add this, add Lambda to hand, and then just re-special Lambda, but we gain 1,400 life points off the second effect of Operation Test. Special Vulcan Rocket, link off the Vulcan Rocket, go ahead and make ourselves Clockwork Knight. Clockwork Knight, sending the Operation Test to go ahead and search for Clockwork Knight. And then we'll go ahead and go link these off into Barricade Board Blocker. There he is. Activate Barricade Board Blocker, discarding Fua, I guess is fine. We can even discard Engage because we don't really need Engage after this. Sorry, I'm skipping a step again. Discard Clockwork, and then Clockwork Knight banish itself, discarding Fua to go ahead and search for Regulus. There we go, serves Regulus. And then now we can just special Regulus, equipping Kagari is fine, I guess. And then we can go link 3, go into ourselves a Shepherd's Crook. Shepherd's Crook effect to set a trap card. This is where we set the count, the next phase here. And then we just set this, special this. We have all the follow-up in the universe, and we have pretty much the same combo. Again, if you can do this during the main phase and protect off of Stage Landing, do that because you don't want to worry about this monster, but still pretty much is the same combo. With this case we have Last Stand, so we can special out Pile Bunker to protect our Brute Blues or something like that as well. So that is going to be it for the video. Like, again, if you want to know what this if you skip to this portion of the video and want to know what this end field does, I've shown it off in a lot of the other combos to show off in the video, so just go back and watch those as well. But as you can see, that is it for the video. Or, sorry, that's not what I was trying to do. I am a little bit tired. I do apologize about that. I've been spending like about four hours trying to do this video, just trying to do the combos. So you can see why I'm a little annoyed right now, because again, it's pretty much the same combo. As long as you get to the link 2 for the RB monster, you do pretty much get to the same end field every single time. So yeah, that is it for the video though. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe for more content on the channel, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.